YouTube has started. Hello and welcome into the stream for everybody tuning in on YouTube. It is so good to have you in here with us today. We are going to go ahead and hop into the debates with Trump supporters. Honestly, my big question is how the hell can they still support Donald Trump after all of the shit that we've seen, not just in the last 150 days, but honestly, the last 48 hours. We have our first Trump supporter already loaded into the stream. Their name is Fleetwood Mama. So Fleetwood Mama, if you'd like to take it away and tell us why you support the man, the myth, the failure, Donald J. Trump, that would be great. Go for it.
I think you're taking a few hops ahead by saying he's a failure, honey. He's not a failure. He's trying to get world peace. We're gonna get there.
Well, he
We
failed.
are getting there.
He failed at the
how
whole.
did he fail?
Yeah, for sure.
How?
Because the first claim was that we'd get world peace by taking out Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities. U.S. intelligence today tells us that we didn't take it out. We only set them back by a handful of months.
You think
And
that's
then he
gonna
said that
happen
we were
overnight?
1 second. And then he said that we were going to get world peace by having a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. So A, he lied. There was no official ceasefire agreement, but yet the two countries agreed to it. And then B, Israel violated that ceasefire agreement and then started bombing Iran not even 2 hours after it went into effect. So he's absolutely failed at what he set out to do.
The only correct thing I think you said right there was that they went ahead and went against the orders and they bombed anyway this morning, pissing him the fuck off. And he was mad. Hence that clip you see all over the internet, right? Where he's saying the F-bomb.
Right.
He's mad.
By the way, for
they're not
everybody listening
listening.
in, this is a fake British accent. I don't know why she's doing it. She is
No,
American.
it's not.
I've
It's
talked.
not any faker than the way you chat with people with your chat GPT. It's the same concept, honey.
I don't use ChatGPT.
Danny boy, come on.
What do you? You obviously you don't see me typing or anything. So how am I telling ChatGPT what you're saying so it could give me a response?
No, not at this very moment. When we get in a heated discussion and we're on a topic, an important topic, your hands disappear.
I'll keep my hands in frame this whole time. So let's.
It's okay.
So try
It's
to give me an argument for why you support Trump that you think would necessitate my use of ChatGPT.
It's not that I don't want to start it on the chat GPT right now. I think we should start off about Trump's. You're saying he's unable to create world peace, and what he did was a start. It was a good start to world peace, and he came pretty damn close, and all they have to do now is listen to reason. But he's right. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
I have a question. Have global
They're-
tensions increased or decreased in the last 150 days?
I would say they've increased. Anybody would say they've increased.
So if he was
Who wouldn't have a global tension increase with all that's going on?
if he was truly a president of peace, maybe he would have at least gotten one global conflict to subside in the last 150 days.
You think that can happen overnight? You think you can just
I think
wave
that
your
we-
magic wand and make everybody love each other overnight? No.
Well, I think that we could definitely see a reduction in conflict in 150 days. Okay, but we haven't even seen a reduction in conflict.
Do you realize what types of countries we're trying to get peace with here? They've been fighting each other since before you were born, and me.
So if you're saying that he can't get peace with them, then you can't say he's a president that's going to achieve world peace.
No, I never said he can't get peace. I said he's trying damn hard, harder than anybody else in a really long time.
Okay, well, he's obviously...
And he's doing good,
He's
considering.
obviously... Wait, the only way you'd be able to say that he's doing good is if, we saw some results, but we just simply don't see any results. Tell me the results that we've seen in the last 150 days.
He bombed Iran, which disabled their nuclear abilities,
That's
right?
not
Which
true.
saves a shitload of people.
No,
They can't do that anymore.
That's
There's
not
more
true.
to go.
I want
He
to
didn't do all of
clarify.
them.
What you just said is not true. Okay,
So he didn't bomb. He didn't use the bunker. What do they call them? The bunker buddies, the 30,000-pound bombs. He didn't use those a few days ago.
So what I told you is not true. Isn't the fact that he didn't bomb Iran? Obviously, we all know that's something that he's done, but he didn't restrict their nuclear abilities. I mean, like I said, we have U.S. intelligence this morning saying that we maybe set them back a couple of months, but we don't really know.
Are you afraid of the sleeper cells?
Okay, so now we're going to pivot to the sleeper cells.
No, we could. We don't have to, but it's an important part of it.
I'm just
Are
trying to
you
understand.
afraid of sleeper cells within the United States?
I'm just trying to understand why you support Trump, and I don't know if sleeper cells have too much to do with it. But
Because he's trying to protect us. He's
realistically-
doing everything in his power to protect us and everybody else.
so realistically,
Nobody else has been willing to do that.
So realistically, no, I'm not too afraid of sleeper cells. But here's the thing, because Iran did tell Trump a week before he decided to bomb them that if he did bomb them, then they would activate sleeper cells in America. and he
Of
still
course.
decided to go ahead with bombing them, risking the lives of Americans and risking the activation of those sleeper cells. Now, this was a
You really
terrible,
think those
terrible. Would you
sleeper
allow
cells
me
would?
to finish?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
This was a terrible, terrible idea. Okay, he put the lives of Americans on the lines when he still decided to make that decision in lieu of the fact that the country of Iran had made a threat. And maybe your response is, well, we don't negotiate with terrorists. If anything, that gave us more reason to bomb them. Absolutely not. Okay,
Thank you, Machito. Thank you for the rose, Machito. Thank you.
you're not even here
This is
for a
what you do.
debate.
You do to me. This is what you do to me when we debate. I'm doing it to you.
I haven't done it to you once in this conversation.
Because they haven't given you money yet,
Yes,
honey.
yes, they have. I got, like, for instance, 3 minutes ago, I got $10 from Kendra saying, you're my daily entertainment while my kids nap. Thanks for keeping up. I appreciate you for that, Kendra.
I know, but my
And then
point is
4
you
minutes
usually
ago, I got
interrupt me.
$10 from Maddie saying that my grandparents are MAGA leaning and we've been watching your lives to start converting their minds. Thank you for the $10, Maddie. And then an hour ago, I got $10 from Gina. So, I mean, like, I have been getting donations. I've just been holding them off because I wanted to have a good conversation with you. Like, for instance, I also got $5 from Rose on Venmo and $15 from Kiara saying thank you for what you do. I appreciate that. But do you see
Thank
how
you,
I've
Caleb.
been
Thank you,
how I-
Timothy. Thank you.
how I've been
Thank
staying
you,
how
everybody.
I've been like trying to not read off those donations because I've just been wanting you to give a point insofar as why you support Trump. I think that you need to calm down on the jealousy and just give us an argument
it's
for why
not
Trump is a good
jealousy,
president. Nicole, thank you for the motorcycle. I appreciate that. We'll take it away. Tell us why
There
you
you
support
go.
Trump.
There you go. Okay, so again, to repeat myself, me and a lot of other people in this country did not want him to do the Iran bomb. We didn't like it. We didn't like the whole feeling of it. We just didn't. Fighting is never good. We didn't want it, right?
Right.
You do a little bit of research on the side, and then you realize, oh, okay, now you see what he's doing here. You get the big picture.
Okay, what's the big picture?
He's out to save so many people, including Americans.
Okay, and how
Did he
is
risk
that?
the sleeper cells coming in?
So
Yes, he
so
took a
what-
risk
so
on letting the
what's
sleeper cells in, but we would blow them to smithereens if they
Okay.
tried anything, and
Okay.
everybody knows that.
Okay, so then what's the pro of him of him bombing Iran? What's the pros we're seeing?
To show them who's boss, honey. That's the whole point.
So you're saying that we're just like bombing
Thank
them
you.
to
Thank
show
you for
them.
the roses. Go ahead.
So you're saying that we're just bombing Iran just to bomb them and show them who's boss. I'm sorry.
No, that's
this
not
is,
what I'm saying. Your surface level
you
intelligence
are
here
going
is
to go ahead and
dumbfounding to
get
me.
muted. So the reason that I muted you is you've only letting me get 3 words out. We are not going to do that. I let you finish. Okay, I let you finish. Thank you for the cool disco thing. That's pretty sweet. And now you're going to let me finish. Okay, so I'm going to go back to what I was saying. So basically your argument is that you support Donald J. Trump because he bombed Iran literally just to bomb Iran. Okay.
No,
Well,
that's not
I'm
what
gonna
I said.
I'm
You're
gonna
not
go.
speaking truth.
I'm going to go ahead and just leave that up to the determination of everybody listening to determine how DUMB that is. But you seem to really care about a reduction in global tension here. You care about world peace. So I'd like to ask you a question. If an American president greenlit Iran to further their development and construction of nuclear weapons, would you think that that president should be impeached?
Are you asking if someone from the United States funded Iran and the nuclear abilities that I should support that? Is that what you're asking?
If one of our presidents greenlit them furthering production of nuclear weapons.
Who the hell would do that except for the Biden administration and Obama?
If a president did that, would you support that being an impeachable offense?
Of course. Who wouldn't?
Okay, so then you'd say that you think that Trump should be impeached since he gave them the green light when he pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement that we
that's
had
not
with
true.
Iran.
He has.
Okay, you're interrupting me. I'll let you speak when I'm done. Like literally, just do it
Well
without
done.
the interruptions. What? Can we do it without the interruptions, please?
But you interrupted me. I was in the middle of a sentence.
I actually haven't interrupted you this whole conversation. But how about this? I'll agree that I'm not going to interrupt you if you could agree that you're not going to interrupt me. What if we do like a mutual agreement here? We're not going to interrupt each other. Is that fair?
That's fair. But here's the thing, honey.
Okay, no, I was
I've got
no.
to hop on a
No.
bus.
Remember, you interrupted me. So I'm gonna
No,
continue with saying what I
I've
was
got
saying.
to go. I've
So
got
you
to
said
get
that
off
you
here.
you want to run away now because you realize that you're fucked. So you said that you would say that you would agree with impeaching a president that greenlit the further construction of nuclear weapons in Iran.
No, that's not what I'm
And
saying.
now you're interrupting me again. Like dude, we agreed 10 seconds ago that we want to interrupt each
Hold
other.
on,
Now
Gene,
you're right
let's
back
take
to
a
it.
breather.
You're right back
Let's
to it.
take
You're
one
right back to
breather.
the interruptions. Bro, what is this debate tactic? It's so fucking annoying. Like, dude, if you're just losing a debate, well, just suck it up. Be an adult. You're older than I am. God damn, why are you acting like a toddler? Just wait until I'm finished speaking. I'm not going to tell you more than like 4 times that you need to stop interrupting me, okay? I'm not your goddamn teacher. I'm not your nanny.
Dean.
I'm not your mommy. I'm not your
Dean.
daddy,
Count to
okay?
10, honey.
Like, I'm not your
Count to
I'm not
10.
your kindergarten teacher. I'm not your babysitter.
Dean.
Okay? Like, I'm literally
it's okay.
I'm young enough to literally be your son, and I'm over here
Dean,
having to
it's
act like the
okay.
adult. So I'm going to go back to what I was saying. Do not interrupt me for the very last time. So you told me that you would support impeaching a president if they greenlit Iran to further their development of nuclear weapons. Okay? Now, this is exactly what Donald Trump did when he pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement that we had signed with the country in 2018. That nuclear peace agreement gave us confidence, gave the UN and the EU confidence that Iran was not furthering construction of their nuclear weapons. It gave the IAEA 24/7 surveillance access to all of their nuclear facilities, as well as it mandated them to deconstruct the machines necessary to enrich the uranium, and it also mandated them to give 97% of their enriched uranium to Russia. Now, when Donald Trump pulled us out of the agreement, it greenlit Iran into furthering their development in nuclear weapons. So, in other words, you'd say that Donald Trump should be impeached. Thank you for not interrupting me. You did good.
You're welcome, Dean. I think we got off on the wrong foot. So now let me correct you and say that that's not what I said. That's your interpretation of what I've said. You're listening to hear me. You're not listening to understand. So suit yourself. If that's what you think, you go right ahead. But that is not what I said at all. Anybody with a grateful brain would know that that's not what I said.
Okay. So I asked you.
You twist it. You twist it to fit your agenda, and that's okay. So take a little hit off your anxiety pen and realize that it's going to be fine.
So I asked you if you'd support impeaching a president that greenlit Iran for their if you said that you'd support a president if that president
Correct.
greenlit Iran to further their development in nuclear weapons.
And that's not what Trump's done.
And I explained to you how that is what he's done. Now, if you disagree, you have to tell me why I'm wrong.
According to your logic, that's your logic compared to the rest of the world, Dean.
Well, can you tell
So
me why
according to your logic, no.
Could you tell me why my logic there is incorrect? Can you dispute the explanation I gave you?
Because it's behind this facade of you can't stand anything Trump, period, right? So anything he does, you would twist to make it sound like it's not what he's supposed to be doing, and it's wrong, and it's not for the betterment of the people of this country.
Okay. So
no matter what, because it has Trump attached to it. That's the whole point.
So we had a little bit of lag there. I'm back now, everybody. Sorry, it did disconnect there for a second, but we are back now. So in other words, your explanation of why my explanation of how Donald Trump greenlit their further development in nuclear weapons by pulling us out of the nuclear peace agreement is that, Dean, you're wrong. Now, I can't tell you why you're wrong. I can't really explain to you why you're wrong, but I just think that you're wrong. Now, the issue that I have with this response is it's purely rhetorical, and it doesn't give me any substance at all. Okay?
Do you not think that he has a plan? Do you not think there's a plan that's been...
Because I gave you very specific points insofar as to justify the conclusion that he did greenlight them for the further development of nuclear weapons.
Do you not think that this man has a plan?
No. You're back to the interruptions.
You can't answer that.
And you didn't dispute any of those points. So the first point that I made was that he pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement, okay? I believe that him pulling us out of the nuclear peace agreement that we had with the country was giving them the green light to the further development of nuclear weapons because it literally pulled them out of any contractual obligation or agreement to not develop nuclear weapons. All right, and we know that when they were signed into the agreement, they were not furthering the development of their nukes because we had 24/7 access to surveillance of all of their nuclear facilities. So the moment that that Donald Trump ended that deal was the moment that the country of Iran was no longer obligated to stop their construction of nukes, meaning that was the moment that he greenlit them to further their construction of nukes. It basically removed a quote-unquote law. It removed a quote-unquote international law off of them to not develop nukes. Okay, like this is like saying that my state governor removed a state law banning 20-year-olds from buying handguns. So if my state governor were to remove that law, well, then my state governor would be greenlighting me into buying a handgun. The same way that Donald Trump removed that quote unquote international law that Iran agreed to, preventing Iran from furthering their construction of nuclear weapons.
That's comparing
Greenlighting.
apples to oranges.
Okay, you got to tell me why my explanation is wrong.
Because the way I see it is there's a reason behind why the people that are put into power to make decisions for our country make the decisions they do. We trust that they're going to make the right decisions, even though on the surface it may seem like asinine and ridiculous.
I'm talking
Like,
to
why?
a goddamn
But
I'm talking to a goddamn fortune cookie. This is all rhetoric. This isn't substance.
this is 100% substance,
No,
but you
it's
don't
not.
listen to anything
Because you're not telling me
other
why
than
my
your point
explanation
of
is
view.
wrong. Tell me how Donald Trump wasn't
I
giving.
see your point.
Tell me
Like,
how.
I'm not disagreeing. I see what you're saying.
Okay, then tell me
But
how
we
I'm
have
wrong.
two different worldviews, honey. We have two different worldviews, and we're never going to meet in the middle.
Were they constructing nukes when they had that nuclear peace agreement with us?
I believe they were, yes.
What's your evidence for that? The Oversight Committee of the IAEA had 24/7 access to surveillance of all of their facilities.
My feelings
and
tell me that, just like your feelings tell you that Trump is not good for us.
Your argument is your feelings?
No, that's what you go on, is your feelings.
That's your
That's where
argument?
your opinions come from. or
Wait,
your
wait, wait.
feelings.
Wait. Your argument is your feelings?
No, you're taking me out of context again.
You just said my feelings tell me that.
I was being sarcastic. See, you don't even know when to pick up on sarcasm.
Okay, well,
Dave.
what's the non-sarcastic response? Why do you think that they violated the peace agreement?
I don't care. Why? They can't mess around with the United States.
Answer
and
my
everybody
question. Answer
else
my
knows
question.
it also.
Answer my question. Were they developing nukes when we had the nuclear peace agreement signed with them?
I think so, yes.
What's your evidence for that claim? Because the IAEA, which was the
Because
oversight
they've got
committee
bunkers
approved by
that
the
go
UN
hundreds
and,
of
and,
feet
and, and,
underground
and
that we
approved
just
by the
blew up.
EU, reported 0 infractions the whole time we had the agreement in effect, and they had access to every single one of their nuclear facilities 24/7.
Yes. Okay.
So
Dean,
how do you know that the IAEA was wrong?
I don't know that they're wrong.
Yes, you do, because in saying that you believe that they were not, honoring the deal, they were violating the deal and developing the nukes. Well, then you're basically implying here that the IAEA was wrong when they said they had no infractions in the 3 years the deal was in effect, even though the IAEA had access to every single one of their nuclear facilities.
Okay. Well, we'll agree to disagree.
How can you disagree with that? That's a logical implication.
I need to do some research.
Obviously, you need to do some research. You're ignorant as
Now,
fuck.
this isn't you proving me wrong. This is two worldviews meeting in the middle, me saying, I need to do more research. Thank you for your information. I'll take it with a grain of salt.
But-
So we respectfully agree to disagree.
How can you disagree that the implication of you saying that they broke the agreement would be okay? How can you disagree with the fact that if you're saying that they broke the agreement, this would imply that the IAEA was wrong when they said they didn't break the agreement?
I don't know. I don't
Exactly.
know.
Exactly. See, you're fucking gagged. You can't explain how that implication is not made. You're just saying shit to say it. Do you see
Let me
here
do-
how your worldview is inherently illogical? It's outside of reality. Do you see the issue?
It's not outside of reality. It's just a different worldview, and that's okay.
It's a worldview that's outside of reason, fact, and logic.
No, not really, honey, because we elected him as president. We trusted him for a reason.
Wait, so you're saying that because Trump is president, I'm wrong?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Then
I'm
what are
saying
you
just-
saying? Oh, what the fuck is going on, y'all? Wow, what a way to start the stream. Let me tell you. I'm pretty sure she's leaving right now. What a way to start the stream. So everybody, that is what a MAGA cultist looks like. Everybody, that is what a MAGA cultist looks like. And as you will see there, it is very hard for me to keep my cool when I'm faced with such a level of dystopian anti-intellectualism. Okay, it is very hard for me to keep my cool. But when I do keep my cool, as I did at the end of that conversation with her, it is just so good at exposing the absurdities, right, of what these people believe in and why. Okay, so what we just observed was a complete failure of logical faculties and faculties of an ability to reason of her brain. Okay, so her brain basically just pooped out, and she became an illogical mess, and that's what you guys just witnessed. Welcome in the dad bod. Do you support Trump? Thank you so much for the cool disco gift. I appreciate you for that. Oh, hi, Dad Bod. Are you driving?
Yeah, that looks good on you. So I support the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are you driving?
No, I'm not. I'm sitting inside of a truck that has air conditioning.
I don't trust him. Plus, he had a little bit of a delay there, which would have made for a very hard conversation. So we are going to move on to the next guest. While we are, Sadie, thank you for the $1 over on PayPal. Maxine, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. And Amanda, thank you for the 5 as well. You guys are awesome. Welcome in Leroy. And Leroy is gone. And oh my God, yo, Christian with the $300 donation over on PayPal. Dear God, Christian, that is so incredibly kind of you. While we are getting that next Trump supporter up in the box, can we please get 3,000 Christian W's down below in that comment section? As well as I see here that Christian has explicitly asked me to not read his message out loud, so you got it. I will not read your message out loud, man. But thank you so much, man. That is so incredibly kind and generous of you. Seriously, bro, that is so kind. That is so kind. So once again, while we're getting that next Trump supporter up in here, show some love to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Christian, down below in that chat. Thank you, man, from the bottom of my heart, truly. Thank you so much for the $300 donation, man. What is going on, Lucas? Are you MAGA? And Lucas has a little bit of stage fright, so unfortunately Lucas is not here. Continue to show some love down to Christian down below in that comment section while we're getting the next guest up here. But if you happen to be one of the 20,000 people watching over on TikTok and you support Trump and you'd like to come up here and have a conversation with a level-headed liberal, let me know down below. I cannot believe that we have 20,000 people in here, and it is just impossible to find a Trump supporter to debate. What is going on your local Bass Head? Do you support Trump? The Trump supporters are so scared that they won't even open up their mouth. What is that? Isn't that something that is quite interesting? All right, everybody, look at this. We have 20.5 thousand people watching. Can't find one person to come up and debate. What is going on, Chase? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
And how old are you, Chase?
41.
41, awesome. Do you think that, I don't know, your mic is a little bit muffled, but it shouldn't be an issue. Real quick before we hop into your debate, though, I would love to thank Rachel for the $10 over on Venmo, saying thank you for educating me every day. I appreciate you for the $10, Rachel. Erica, thank you for the $15 as well. Thank you so much for the love, Erica. Let's get 150 Erica W's, as well as Pam and Kiara, both with the $5. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much for the love over on Venmo. Go ahead and take it away, Mr. Chase. Why do you support the man, the myth of failure, Donald J. Trump as president?
Well, let's talk about what you were just saying to that previous caller about the JPCOA when Trump pulled us out?
Yeah.
And you were asking, do you think that caused, was there any nuclear weapons being built? What was the question exactly, if you remember?
Yeah, I asked her if she would support impeaching a president that greenlit Iran's further construction of nuclear weapons. She said, yes, I would support impeaching them, and I think that is exactly what Donald Trump did when he pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement that we had with Iran.
Okay, so you're saying that under that deal, they were with the inspections that they were not building the nuclear weapons, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but you think that they are closer now to having a nuclear weapon than they were back then?
Well, I think that. Actually, I didn't make a claim about how close or far away they are. I made a claim about
that's a question I'm
essentially
asking you.
green lighting them. Do I think that
I'm
they're
asking you that now.
Do I think that they're closer? Well, I mean, I think that we did see that the IAEA reported that they had begun enriching uranium again. So, I mean, I would obviously assume that not existing in a nuclear peace agreement would mean that they're closer to having nukes. But I don't know exactly what that means or how close they are.
Well, do you disagree with them being at 60% of your enriched uranium?
Do I disagree with it? Well, I mean, I think that we should probably denuclearize every single country in the world. But honestly, would you mind answering the question that I was asking to the last guest?
Yeah, my answer to you is, I think that under the Biden administration, that
so Biden had nothing to do with the question that I asked.
Well, it is, because what you said was, do you think while they were doing the inspections, and if he didn't pull us out of that nuclear deal, that we wouldn't be in the situation kind of what we're in today.
No, my
answer-
question was, would you support impeaching a president that greenlit Iran
No, I didn't hear
for
that
their
part.
further
That's
construction
what
of
I was
nuclear
talking
weapons?
Well, that wasn't the question I was referring to. The question I was referring to that you
No.
asked to was, well, I didn't hear that one. I'm talking about a different one when you got into a little bit of the debate when it started falling in.
So then the question would have been, do you think that they violated the nuclear peace agreement prior to 2018 when Trump pulled us out?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And I think what happened is it's like the same thing as turning around and saying, you heard, Biden plenty of times said that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So it would be like with your same argument to say that when Biden came in after Trump pulled us out, Biden did nothing after that. So it'd be like the same thing as turning around today and saying, Biden had a much higher immigration level than Trump. So then Trump came in today and he just did nothing about it.
Okay.
So
So that's actually not true. So the Biden-Harris administration actually did try to re-enter into that peace agreement with Iran, but obviously they didn't want to because the last
course they
president had
didn't
pulled
want
us out, and that showed us as an unreliable negotiator. I'm actually going to ask you the same question I asked the last guest. Would you support impeaching a president that greenlit Iran's further construction of nuclear weapons? Dude, is this guy leaving? Are you joking?
hold on, I'm not leaving. I hit the button.
Yeah, would you support impeaching a president that greenlit Iran's further construction of nuclear weapons?
Who further greenlit them?
Yeah, just greenlit their nuclear program.
I mean, it would have to be, there would be, if you want to go with just what you're asking for absolutely no reason and nothing else behind it, yeah, I would say, well, I would have certain questions to say, why are you doing that?
I mean, I'm asking if you'd support impeaching them or not.
If you want to answer it in the way you're doing, yes, I would support impeaching him.
Okay, so then you'd support impeaching Trump because that's what he did
No,
when he
I
pulled us out
wouldn't.
of the nuclear peace agreement.
Yeah, again, that's not true because not only did he pull us out of it, but he also hit Iran with massive sanctions. Okay. He told the world to turn around and say anybody who is buying any oil from Iran is not doing business.
So
People there
re-sanctioning
they were on
Iran.
the-
Re-sanctioning Iran was a part of pulling us out of the nuclear peace agreement. So before we went into the nuclear peace agreement in 2015, we had really massive sanctions on Iran. A part of the nuclear peace agreement was to lift those sanctions if they stopped the construction of their nuclear weapons. So when he pulled us out of that agreement, that didn't just imply that they are greenlit to further the construction of their nuclear weapons, but that also implied that we are greenlit to reimpose those sanctions on the country as we had prior to the nuclear peace agreement.
Correct. But what happened is Donald Trump lost the second election. Biden came in and did absolutely nothing. Not only did Biden not put the sanctions back, not only did he turn around and say, we're not getting back into the nuclear deal. And if you want to turn around and say, well, Iran told Biden no, well, then that just goes to show that Biden is not a strong enough president because if Biden wanted to get back into that deal and Iran would have said no, and all the other countries that were involved in that deal were saying yes, and they all turned around and still said no, well, then Biden should have massively put those sanctions back on Iran and said, you know something? Yeah, Trump pulled you out. I had you in. I'm back here now, and I lead by strength. And Biden didn't do that. Okay, that is what got Iran to raise the enrichment up to 60%. Now you've had Hillary Clinton talking about it. You've had Barack Obama. You've had Biden. Everybody talking about that Iran cannot become a nuclear power. And it just sounds to me that people like yourself and other Democrats are saying it was the wrong thing to do. We should have waited until they did have the nuclear weapon and used the nuclear weapon. Then we should have went in after them.
Okay, I don't know why you're just fucking
Makes
lying.
sense to me.
Okay, are you ready to let me
How?
speak? So I don't understand
Yeah,
why
of
you're
course.
just like fucking lying. So you said that the
I'm not
Biden-Harris
fucking lying.
Yes, you are. You said that the Biden-Harris administration didn't sanction Iran, right? That was a claim that you made at least 3 times. in
As
the last
much
30
as
seconds.
Donald Trump did.
That's not true at all.
As
Not only did they keep the economic sanctions placed on Iran by Trump when he pulled us out of the JCPOA, but they also imposed new sanctions on February 8th, 2021, September 22nd, 2022, June 2023, May 2024, September 2024, and December 2024. So don't act like the Biden-Harris administration lifted sanctions sanctions or did not impose new sanctions, because that is simply a lie that does not equate to reality, sir. Now, I'm also going to add, no. You are going to go ahead and allow me to finish speaking. So do not lie. Do not say that they lifted sanctions. Not only did they keep the sanctions that Trump placed, but they placed new sanctions 5 times in their 4 years. Now, on to the second point of you saying, well, if Biden couldn't renegotiate another nuclear peace agreement with the country of Iran, that means he's not a strong president. I'm so sorry. Wasn't like the touted golden claim of Trump prior to bombing Iran, this idea that he gave them 60 days to re-enter into a nuclear peace agreement, in which they refused to do, meaning that in accordance with your own logic, Trump isn't a strong enough president either?
No, not true.
Explain to me the difference between saying that if Biden couldn't get a deal done, Biden was weak, but if Trump can't get a deal done, he's the best president since George Washington.
You're going to let me speak and I'll tell you? Because in the JPCOA, or whatever the initials are to it, I hope I'm saying them in the right order, there was a time limit on those sanctions when Barack Obama put it into Iran, saying you cannot do this for X period of time, whether it was 10 years or 15 years, which if it was 10 years would be coming up right around now. Donald Trump is turning around and saying to them, no more, ever again, 0. So it's a big difference between turning around and saying, well, you can't enrich and you can't have a nuclear weapon for, say, 10 or 15 years, than it is to saying you're never going to have one, ever, end of story, period, end quote. That's the difference between the two deals. So when Trump was coming back in, there was no time limit. You got people out here literally turning around and saying Iran is a sovereign nation and they should have a nuclear weapon. So I'll just ask you straight out, do you believe that Iran should have a nuclear weapon, yes or no?
You didn't respond to anything that I said, and for that reason, I'm going to re-ask you the questions. You did not respond to anything that I said, because there's particularly 2 questions that I asked of you, or more so one statement that I wanted you to respond to than one question I wanted you to respond to, and you didn't respond to either of them. The first statement that I made that I wanted you to respond to was the fact that you said that Biden lifted sanctions. I corrected you by stating that not only did he not lift sanctions, he kept the sanctions in place and imposed new sanctions 5 times. And then the question that I asked you that I wanted you to respond to was the fact that you said if Biden couldn't negotiate a deal with him, this means that Biden was weak. So does this mean that Donald Trump is also weak? Because it is the case that he also couldn't negotiate a deal with him. So you didn't respond either to the statement I made or the question that I asked. You merely just brought up the fact that in accordance with the JPCOA, there was a time limit on how long they couldn't enrich uranium beyond a particular threshold or point to, and Donald Trump didn't want that time limit. He wanted it forever. Okay, so that is yet another claim that I could give you either my critiques on, my thoughts on, if I agree or disagree, or on over it's true or false, all right? And I think that's valid, that's fine, that's awesome, but that is not a response either to the statement I made to refute your claim related to Biden lifting sanctions, or the question that I asked you, paralleling your logic, saying if Biden couldn't get a deal, that means he's weak. Therefore, because Trump couldn't get a deal, that also means he's weak, correct?
Okay, so then answer your questions as far as Biden, okay? If you go into there, stand up there and ramble off all the dates of the sanctions, want to go back and say, on this date, he issued a sanction. What was the sanction? I don't know, but you seem to be reading about it. And then also ask
no, for sure. Would you like me to tell you?
What was it? Was it the $5 billion that he released for the money that we were holding? And 6 months later, October 7th happened? And everybody wants to turn around and say, well, he didn't get any of that money. They didn't do this. Nonsense.
Okay.
They just
and now you're making a new claim about releasing other money. But once again, you're not responding to my question about the sanctions. Listen, man. It is not the response to what I said whatsoever. I made a very clear statement that he didn't lift sanctions. He imposed new ones. And I asked a very clear question. If Biden's weak because he couldn't achieve a nuclear peace agreement, so is Trump, according to your logic. The first time I made that statement and then asked you a question, you responded by making a parallel saying that the JCPOA would have only been in effect for 8 years. What Donald Trump wanted was forever. And now the second time, I've re-asked you to answer my question and to respond to my statement. Your response is just to bring up Biden apparently giving them money. Okay, well, none of those 2 statements are a response to what I said. So either respond directly to what I said without pivoting, or we'll just do this loop forever. I understand that it is a very handy debate tactic for people on the right to pivot and deflect whenever a very, very, very specific statement and or question is made that refutes what you believe in. Okay, this is honestly the best tactic for any debater on the right. Okay, because at the end of the day, when we walk down the reasoning, when we walk down reality, when we walk down your claims, they're false. I mean, that's just the reality of it. See, that's why you should be progressive. That's why you shouldn't be MAGA. It's because MAGA it fundamentally is reliant upon a worldview of delusion. So when we walk down your claims, they're ultimately false. But the thing that you're doing is when I'm walking you down, you're just pivoting and deflecting. So without pivoting and deflecting, admit and concede that you're wrong. That no, Donald Biden did not lift Trump's sanctions on Iran. In fact, he only imposed new ones.
Okay, you done? Well, I'm going to answer your questions as you say. Okay, Biden, okay, did lift some of the sanctions off of Iran, which was not allowing Iran to export oil to countries that Donald Trump had banned, 100%. That's why China and Russia and countries like that are buying oil from Iran, where under Donald Trump they were not. So those are two sanctions that were lifted off of Iran when Biden came in. Now, to turn around to answer your second question, or the statement that you wanted me to ask about, why is Joe Biden a weaker president than Donald Trump? Because I said that Donald Trump did more with Iran than Biden. Biden came into the office after Donald Trump pulled us out of the JCPOA, and he wanted to work with Iran. He lifted $5 billion.
Let's respond to that. Can we respond to the sanctions claim first?
Listen, I said, even though you muted me,
I want to break it into two separate conversations. Let's first just start with the sanctions claim, okay? Okay. So now
was Russia and China buying oil from Iran
now you're saying,
during Donald Trump's sanctions?
Now you're saying that he lifted some of the sanctions. So first we need to
You
point
said
out
he lifted none.
Now first we need to point out that you are equivocating between your claims.
No, you are equivocating. You said he lifted none.
The first claim that you made was that he lifted the sanctions imposed on Iran, which was not true. Now you're saying that he lifted some. Your first claim was that he lifted all. So what specific sanctions did they lift?
Okay, what I said was that they lifted sanctions off of Iran. I didn't use the word all.
Which ones?
I just told you. Exporting of oil.
Okay, when was that sanction lifted?
Under the Biden. Listen, I'm not sitting there in front of a computer like you are.
I know, right? But I am. I'm lifting at the entirety of the Biden presidency as it relates to sanctions on Iran. So when did they lift sanctions on Iran, and which sanctions were they?
Exporting of oil to Russia and China during the Biden administration. I don't know the dates. What do you want me to tell you? I don't know the dates.
Okay, can you give me a source on this?
Can I give you a source that China and Russia are both buying oil from Iran?
No, I want a source that the Biden-Harris administration lifted sanctions on them.
Well, let's put it to you this way. Why don't you Google the facet of what were the sanctions under Donald Trump? Since you seem to know that on September 24th,
stop muddying the water. 1 second, sir. Please stop muddying the water. Obviously, if the Biden, yes, you are, because obviously, if the Biden-Harris administration lifted some sanctions on the country, there should be a source about it.
Then let me ask you this. Very simple. How about this source? It's called logic. You seem to, you call yourself an intellectual genius.
No, I'm going to need an empirical source, not a, no, sir, I'm so sorry. This is so weak. I don't need a rational source. I need an empirical source. Okay.
Well,
so if it is true that the Biden-Harris administration lifted any sanctions on Iran, there will be an empirical source to demonstrate when that decision was made, what specific sanction was lifted, and how the decision was made, and through what executive order, policy, memorandum, executive action, etc. Right, Chris? I appreciate you for the baby dragon. Okay, and you're basically telling me that you don't have a source here. You can't find me evidence of your claim, but you want to try to prove it logically. Well, no, it's not a rational or logical claim that the Biden-Harris administration lifted the sanctions. It'd be an empirical claim, right? So I don't need a logical source. I need an empirical source.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what the source is. Okay,
great.
Currently, as we speak here today, Iran is selling oil to Russia and China. That we know. Okay. Now, the only way that could have happened since the sanctions would be if Donald Trump did it within the last 6 months. If Donald Trump didn't do it within the last 6 months, okay, then it had to have happened under the Biden administration. Otherwise, they wouldn't be buying their oil from Iran.
Okay.
Okay.
So therefore, what you're saying, if what you're saying is true, then you'll be able to find a source to show that it happened.
Okay, well, why don't we do this for argument's sake, and let's say that there's no way in the world that you would believe, or anybody on this live would
Sir, are you
believe,
going to
that Donald
provide
Trump
yes,
lifted
yes or
it.
no? Are you going
No,
to
I'm
provide
not
me
going
with
to
a
go
source?
searching on the internet right now for your
Okay,
specific
great.
date.
Then
And
concede. Then concede the point.
No, I'm not get conceding. You concede the point that you said no sanctions
If you're not
were
gonna
lifted.
wait, if you're not gonna concede the point, even though you can't find evidence for what you're saying, like you're just a dense, hard-headed, anti-intellectual POS.
Well, if you can't understand to the facet, or if you want to deny right now that you are just not smart enough to know that Russia and China are both buying oil from Iran, then you better go out and do more of your research. And you are just
So
a
I want to
donut that I
clarify.
always thought you were.
I'm the donut that needs to do research, even though you're the man that's making a claim with no evidence and no source. Why are you projecting and gaslighting so astronomically hard? I can't even
Okay.
believe that this is a real conversation that we're having here, right? Like, and honestly, I bet everybody watching this live right now can understand my perspective. Like, you're very obviously in the wrong here, regardless of like the bias that the viewership may hold. So the reason why I say that you're very obviously in the wrong here, regardless of the regardless of the bias that the viewership may hold, is because you're making a claim. The claim is that the Biden-Harris administration lifted sanctions on Iran. Okay, right now, in order to justify this claim, you'd have to provide evidence that the Biden-Harris administration lifted sanctions on Iran. This would look at like a repeal of a mandate set forth by the Trump administration. This would look like a new executive order to lift sanctions that were previously imposed. This would look like maybe a policy passed through Congress that included lifting these sanctions. And Google is free. You have access to a resource vault of trillions of different inputs, dialogues, articles, and reporting on everything done in the last 4 years by the Biden-Harris administration. And if you're saying that you have no evidence, right, for what you're saying, obviously, then I'd have no reason to accept what you're saying. Nobody should accept claims without sources. Nobody should accept claims without evidence. And you simply don't have that. Now, I think what is crazy here is now you're trying to paint me like I am the STUPID one. You're trying to paint me like I'm the one in the wrong. You're trying to paint me like I'm the bad person that needs to do more research just because I'm unwilling to accept your claim without any evidence or receipts. That's outrageous.
Really, you just said 5 minutes ago, and take that exact rant that you just said to me and put it to yourself when you said that Biden administration lifted no at all any sanctions from Iran. None. That's what you said. Where's your proof?
Yeah.
Where's your information? Where is your everything you just said to me? You said they lifted zero, none. You didn't say they switched. You didn't say, well, maybe they lifted this one, but they also implemented this one. Because if that's your contention, well, then maybe they added a sanction, but then also gave them $5 billion.
Okay. So first and foremost, this is technically a deflection. The reason why I say this is technically deflection is because you are now shifting the
Because it's
burden
against you.
of you providing the evidence that for your claim into me providing the evidence of a claim that I made. But yeah, if you're curious for evidence for the claim that I made, right, well, feel free to go on Google, type in Iran nuclear deal. U.S. sanctions will not be lifted for talk, says Biden, which was published on February 7th, 2021 on BBC. And then you could also find evidence of the imposition of more tariffs in 2022, 2023, then 3 times in 2024 on Axios. Particularly, you could look up U.S. sanctions, Iran's mortality police over death of a woman in custody, etc. See how I'm able to provide you sources here. So I'm going to go and ask you one last time if you could provide sources for your claim. And if you can't, well, I'm just going to move on because I'm here for productive dialogue, not conversations with absolutely lost, mental decayed, brain-rotted old men that want to support Trump no matter what, even when you have no reason to.
Right.
So
But
either
you can't
can you
answer the
provide
simple question.
I did. I just gave you a
No,
source. So what is
not
your
right
source?
now. I can't. My question is,
Okay.
do you think Iran should have a nuclear weapon or not?
So if
Yes
you
or no?
can't provide a source
Yes
for
or
your
no?
claim,
Do you think so?
I'm not willing to move on until you either provide a source or
Because you
concede.
can't. You won't answer that question. That one little question. You won't
It's
answer.
not fair for you to ask me as well as everybody watching to just completely deflect around the claim that you
Dude,
made.
everybody
unless
in this live is saying how wrong you are. Just look at all the comments saying.
it's not fair for you to ask me as well as to everybody listening for us to just completely move on from the claim that you made unless you either justify it or concede it. Now, if you want to concede the claim, I'm more than welcome to move on, but you just have to admit
So
that
if I concede
you,
the claim, I can beat you up at other
you
things.
have to admit a concession. All right, or
Okay, I
like, provide
concede.
evidence.
You know, Dean, like I said, you are the intellectual gene. You are I, Gene Withers. I'm an intellectual gene.
Yeah, he's fucking trolling. Okay, got it. So we're gonna move on to the next guest, everybody. Now that is a really good demonstration on how to deal with the decayed, mental, brain-rotted Trump supporters that think that they have evidence to justify what they believe in. And the way to go about that is to press them really, really, really hard for receipts or evidence to suggest that their claims are true. Okay, and what you'll see there is that they're very opposed to this concept of providing evidence for what they're saying, right? Because they believe that they could believe in things without evidence. All right? And how crazy is that, guys? How crazy is that? How crazy is it to say that we could believe in things without evidence? That's nuts, right? What's going on, Herschel? Do you support Trump?
Hey, no, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I do really like your.
I really appreciate you for that love. I do got to kick you out not only because you're not MAGA, but also because you do sound underage. If you happen to be one of the 20,000 people watching the stream, you guys, make sure that you're hopping in that queue. If you're at least 18 from America and support Trump, I'd love to bring you up here and to have a conversation. Jennifer, I appreciate you for that money gun. We are going to go ahead and move on to the next guest at this point in the conversation. Everybody, let's go and get that next guest, 616, loaded into that stream. Everybody, here we go. While we do, Frisk, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat, saying I watch you every day and love how you educate the ignorant. I appreciate you for that love. As well as Kimberly, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat, saying that the MAGA cope is so bad today and they are actually doubling down. Kiddo, are they even reachable anymore? Well, I don't think that the last two guests I've discussed with are reachable, and honestly, the reason why I still engage in conversation with them is because I believe that there's not a massive takeaway for them, but there's a massive takeaway for everybody listening to my conversation with them. But show some love to Frizz and Kimberly down below in that chat, as well as to Julia for the $20 Super Chat over on YouTube. Thank you so much. And Alania, thank you so much for the $50 Super Chat. Julia says, have another donation, and Alania is informing me that she passed her exams. Good fucking job, Alania. Let's get 1,000 Alania W's down below and 200 Julia W's down below in the chat for all the love. And 616, what is going on, man? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do support Trump.
Great. How do you?
In a lot of ways. I'm 20.
You're 20. What year are you born in?
March 11, 2005.
Phenomenal, man. Well, let's go ahead and hop into that debate. Real quick, before we do, Kira, thank you for another $5 on Venmo. Violet with a 5, Ian with a 5, and Kristen with a 10. Kristen says, I love watching your lives. They're very entertaining. I'm glad that you are taking something away from them. I would also like to thank Maxine and Amanda for the 5, and Lee for the 5, and Livia for the 5 over on PayPal, as well as Diane with the $25 donation over on PayPal, saying for the intelligence. Thank you, Diane. Let's get 250 Diane W's and 500 William W's for the $50 donation. That is William spelled W-I-L-L-E-M, William. Dude, that is so incredibly kind of you. I do not deserve that at all. Thank you guys so much for the love. Show some love to all the donors down below. Alania, Julia, Diane, and William, you guys are awesome. Now, take it away, 616. Why do you support Trump?
I support Trump in his, as he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and what he's doing. I love to see that. It's great.
Okay, so what is he doing that you think is great? Let's be
Well,
specific.
That parade of his is pretty cool. That was pretty cool. You see all that parade?
Yeah, that was a massive waste. He only wasted around 150 mil on that. I think that was
He
outrageous.
wasted 150 million?
I think it might have even been a little bit more.
Do you really think it cost any money to get all those troops out there for them to march around and stuff? No, they're
Absolutely.
really just. Well, I mean, to be fair, you're right. They had to pay like all the troops.
Right, and then
to
also
do
like
that.
all the ammunition that they shot, setup of the of the venue, of the location, ticketing the event.
Yeah, but
and also I'd say that the largest cost was shipping all of the equipment out there.
But like, there's another thing about that is like, it's like, when was the last time we had a show of military force like that besides our little airplanes?
The 90s.
Yeah, see, it's been a while, so I mean, I think what he did was good there. With,
Okay.
I mean, he
So
basically
I'm saying
orchestrated
that it's bad because it was just kind of an unnecessary waste of a lot of money. Like like obviously like this is the first time I've heard
it.
anybody.
So is giving water to plant.
Can you wait for me to finish?
Oh, sorry.
So I'm saying that it's bad because it was an unnecessary waste of like a lot of money. Like seemingly even Trump agrees. I mean, he was seen spiraling and very sad at how it turned out. Not a lot of people showed, and the troops were walking out of line. And then you're saying that it's good. You don't really care about that expenditure because maybe it's been a while since we have a military parade. Okay, all right. Well, I'm actually fine to agree to disagree on this particular subject, just because I don't think it's like too relevant. Like hopefully like a military parade, right, isn't like the reason why you support Trump.
Oh no, I voted for him because
Well, not I,
he's
no, you could tell us why you voted for him, but like I'm more so just trying to determine why you still support him today, and if those reasons are still relevant, take it away.
I support him because he's a good idol to the American country.
Oh, are you
like,
sure?
Yeah.
Oh, really? A grapist
Positive.
is a good positive role model to look
Well,
up to.
they don't have any like. Well, he hasn't been convicted of that.
Oh, he's actually been held civilly liable for it by unanimous jury of 9. That's right. Or like this guy that's boasted about perving on naked teenage girls while they're undressing in a woman's only space. That's a good role model to look up to. Would you want your child to look up to that guy?
Now that you're talking about that, probably not. But like,
Right. Me
I
neither.
don't have any kids, so I mean,
Right.
doesn't
Me
really
neither.
apply to me.
Obviously, like an adjudicated rapist that is boasted about perving on underage naked teenage girls.
Well, he's never been convicted of that, though. You have to be kind of convicted, like you have to be thrown onto the sex offender list. I mean, he's not a sex offender because he's not a sex.
Are you
not a
saying that
sex-
about both claims about being a rapist and perving on underage girls?
Well, he's not on the sex offender list, so you're just capping out of your ass.
So my question is, do you disagree with both of those two claims for that reason? Like, are you saying
Yeah,
Okay.
I disagree with what you're saying because it's not true.
Okay, and what have I told you that it is true?
No, well, not much really. You
No.
don't do that much research.
No, what kind of evidence would you need?
Well, I would need evidence that supports that. Well, who did you say he touched? You didn't really say he touched anyone. You
Well, yeah,
said
let's
he was
just
a
talk about this
rapist.
claim. So let's talk about this claim first. Like, I don't know, like owning Miss Teen USA and Miss USA and like walking backstage before the event started while the teenage girls and the adult women were like undressed, right, in the woman-only changing room, and you just like kind of walk into the space to look at them while they were naked, right? Like, what kind of evidence would you need to believe that?
Sure, I didn't know he would do all that, but that doesn't make any sense because he would be convicted.
Okay, so what kind of
If he
evidence
did.
so what kind of evidence what if he admitted to it? Would that be enough evidence?
Yeah, that would be. If he
Okay.
admitted on live television that, yeah, no.
And if he
yeah.
did admit to this, would you still support him?
No.
Are no takesy backsies?
I'm probably gonna vote for a Democrat.
Well, I just want to clarify,
after.
like if he admitted to this on live TV and you knew about it for sure, like would you say that I no longer support Trump? I'm no longer a Trump supporter.
Yeah, I would no longer support him. It's that easy.
There's no Palestinian freedom.
But he doesn't have you don't have any proof though that you just have because he is a felon, but he's not on the sex offender list.
All right,
so.
here we go.
Could that be construed, however, as
I'm totally not trying
Yeah,
to troll.
It could be a conflict of interest, but you know, it's the kind of thing you worry about.
Sorry, I needed to pause it for the sound effect of the GIF. Thank you so much for the Leon the Kitten. Thank you, Leon. It's Lennon. It's incredibly good to see you again here today. Thank you for the love, Lennon. Shout out to Lennon down below in that chat, but let's go and roll the clip.
Later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, you know, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with the vagina. And
Well, you could also say,
This
as the
is
owner
crazy.
of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
so you have done that. Now, tell
Well,
me
I'll
what-
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, you know, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Okay, so your two
Okay, so
options
I-
are as follows. Your first option is to say, wow, you proved it to me. I'm going to be a man of my word. I no longer support Trump. Your second option is to play the mental gymnastics game where you try to find some justification to support being a raging hypocrite. So which one will it be?
All right, so I'll man up and I don't really support Trump. I just voted for him because my dad voted for him.
So you no longer support Trump?
Well, I never really did support Trump in the first place. I just like
Bro, what does my
I
background
voted
say?
for him. But okay, hold up. Let me say something. I voted for him. I was just curious.
Okay, if
on
you could
what
go back in time, would you still vote for him?
No, I would vote for Kamala.
Great, man. That's awesome, 616. Well, I guess we're going to go to move on to the next guest because it's a job done. Let's go to get that next guest up in the box right now, everybody. Go ahead and just give us a minute to get that done. We got Erica loading up into the box as we speak. Phenomenal. That last guest was a little bit confusing, but I guess, we kind of ended it on the right path there, him admitting that, no longer supports him. That's great. If you're watching and you support Trump, go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that chat. I'll invite you up. I'd love to have a conversation. And while we're getting the next guest up here, Rolf, thank you for the $5. Say no evidence to support your claim is crazy, lol. Yeah, that's what that last guest was shouting about. What's up, James? Do you support Trump?
While you guys are at home sitting on your asses,
Yeah, is this
I just
you?
took a private
With your
jet out to
ego?
LA
Hell yeah,
with
it
$1 million.
is. Hell yeah. $1 million in the lap.
Just rental passenger seats
And
in a
the rental
coach
pass-
duffel
and the
bag.
coach
Couple
duffel
grand in
bag
the lap. I'm about to go drop it at Louis Vuitton.
at LV. Let's fucking go.
Living my dream life. What are you doing?
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Come on.
Nothing.
Nothing. Your ego. Your
So you talk about
your
ego.
Your
You
ego
talk
is
about ego
your
with an
ego
ego like
is the
that is
problem.
crazy.
Your ego
With
is
an ego
the
like
problem.
that's actually absurd. And you're talking about people's ego, and this is you?
While you guys are at home sitting on your asses,
sitting on your
I
ass,
just took a private
James.
jet out to LA with $1 million.
with $1 million
In this
in
rental
my
pack.
lap while you're
Like,
sitting at home on your ass. I'm taking a private jet out to LA with
what
$1
kind of
million
an ego is that?
in my
Holy crap.
in my coach duffel
And this
seats,
wasn't even
in
long
the-
ago.
in
You
the
still wear the
passenger-
same shirt.
in my
You
passenger
still wear the
seats.
same shirt. You still have the same shirt on.
Okay. Do you want?
You
Okay.
just wore the shirt 3 days ago.
Okay. I'll be serious. I'll actually talk
While
about
you guys
it.
are at home sitting on your asses, I just took a private
You've
jet out
already
to
you've
LA
already
with $1
you've
million.
already played it twice. Is it okay if I talk now? I'll take it seriously. Are you ready?
Wow. Your ego is through the roof.
Okay. He's grandstanding. Let him
Your
grandstand. Everybody.
ego is massive.
Let me know.
It is massive.
Let me know when I can respond. I'm waiting.
Yeah, go ahead. And you can't say that it was a long time ago. I mean, what was that, like last year?
No, that was 3 years ago, but same difference. I'll go ahead and respond now. So, I mean, A, if you're a viewer of my content, then you already know exactly what this is. We talk about it a lot. And B, that video clip is absolutely funny as fuck. Okay, you cannot tell me.
How is that funny?
Will
You're
you
dead
let-
ass
will,
serious.
will you let me finish speaking?
How is that funny? It's funny if you weren't serious.
I will happily allow you to speak once I'm done speaking. Can I finish
Yeah,
speaking?
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. So point number B, that video is absolutely fucking funny as hell. I've actually considered remaking it for the shits and giggles just for fun, but I know that people like you would take it out of context, so I haven't done that. But I wish I could because that would be funny as fuck. And then see, I'll explain it all for you and then everybody else that doesn't know what's going on. So before I am doing what I'm doing now in politics, I was a full stack web developer. In fact, right before I did what I do now, I had a stable job working for an e-commerce company to build out their online revenue portals and to scale out their brick and mortar services. I was their creative director. It was really awesome, and I also did a lot of front end and back end work for other e-commerce companies as well as for real estate companies. Now, of course, when I was older, when I was like 18, 19, I ran this professionally through like my own branding agency. I had a couple people on board, a junior developer. In fact, I even have 2 international awards for web development. But when I was 16 and 17, that's when like the Tate hype was real. So the way that I tried to market the same services that I sold professionally for years when I was like 16 and 17 was to basically use similar marketing tactics to Andrew Tate. And let me tell you, it was cringy as fuck. Absolutely cringy as fuck, but the product was real. And if anything, when I was younger, I sold it for significantly below market value. And it ended up being a product that I would sell for like 5 figures or more.
So you were lying then, so now you're saying you're not lying now, and I'm kind of just confused on what part of that video is funny. Like, what's the funny part of it?
Yeah, because it was kind of like a satirical joke. Like it's
No,
funny because
no.
of how
You were
satire
posting
funny
it at the time. No, you weren't posting it at the time.
Like
acting like
it's
it was a joke.
really
You're
it's
posting
really
at the time
cringe.
acting like it. No, but at the time, were you joking when you were posting it, or were you serious when you were
So
posting it?
in making the content, it was obviously supposed to be a satirical joke, but it was being used to market a real
No,
product.
it was
now
not.
You could say that like the
That's
marketing
so-
was cringe.
that's-
I agree 110%, but it was a real product.
Yeah, but that's just not true at all.
Okay, so I have a question. What is your critique?
Serious. in that video.
Okay, so you're saying that
What?
I was serious. Wait, so you think I actually had $1 million in a Coach duffel bag?
You were lying to the people to sell it. It's what all these fake people do. And for you to act like that's not the case is a complete and total lie.
Okay,
You were acting
so-
like you were someone else. You were acting like you're arrogant. You were acting like you're cocky. You were acting like you're rich to sell a product to people that you would manipulate them into buying. That is the point blank period truth.
All right, James. So, I mean, I've gone over this about 1 billion different times. This comes up like maybe once a month. And I mean, I talk about it every single time. So I don't know if you follow
Well, yeah,
me.
but don't lie
And
about
now,
it.
and now you're
Don't be-
interrupting me. There's
Yeah,
not a
'cause you're
single
lying
there's
about
not a
it.
single thing that I've lied about. I would really appreciate if you let me speak. I'm giving you the honest take. And it's really funny because the tactics of the right, what we see today, is to basically say, well, look at Dean when he was this cringy 16, 17-year-old using this like this form of marketing playing into the whole Andrew Tate thing. Listen, bro, I agree. It was cringy. Okay, I 110% agree that it was cringy. But once again, the product that I was selling had a genuinely high ROI. It was a real professional service. And if you want to say that the marketing was fake, okay, I'll agree with you in the sense that it didn't actually have $1 million. I wasn't
Yeah, there you
actually
go.
hopping on
You were
a
scamming
private
your
jet.
followers.
But that's the
Yeah,
thing.
you were scamming your followers.
What's a scam?
What's a scam is when you promote something, but there's hidden messages that you're not telling your followers.
man. Thank you
For
so much for the
example,
galaxy.
you're giving off the idea that if your followers were to buy your product, they could be like you and have $1 million. When you see people influencing day trading and like, oh, go buy my day trading platform, these people are scamming individuals like you and I to go buy these platforms so we can be like them. So you're giving off this false narrative that you are rich when you're not rich and people don't necessarily want to be like you.
Okay, so you're saying that I gave off a false narrative like I had a bunch of money, but I didn't actually have a bunch of money. 110%. I couldn't agree with you more. That is cringy and wrong, okay? But now about calling the product in of itself a scam, that's where I disagree. The reason why I don't
I didn't
think
call
that
the product a scam.
Now
I
the
said-
reason why
I
I
said
don't
that-
think that the product in of itself was a scam was because I was legitimately selling full-fledged front-end and back-end web development for e-commerce websites, stores, and as I told you, once I grew up, I was no longer a cringy little teenager. I sold those products professionally. But if your claim is that the marketing for the product was misleading because I wasn't actually rich, you are absolutely 110% right, Mr. James, who's very cringy and wrong. I agree. If I could go back in time, I would absolutely not have done that. But once again, A, I don't think that makes the implication that it was a scam. And B, I'll ask you to tell us why you support Trump.
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing. When you talk about people's arrogance, you should maybe look at your own arrogance because that's the most
Oh,
arrogant
so
video.
now you're gonna
I've ever
leave.
seen.
Now you're gonna leave.
No, I'm not leaving.
So
I'm
wait. So
gonna-
I
I'm gonna
just
get
I
back-
just want
I'm
to
not leaving.
clarify,
I'm not
James.
leaving.
What
I'm
was
not
your was
leaving.
your
I'm t-
goal in coming up here trying to expose me as a grifter fraud?
Did I say I was leaving?
Answer my question.
Okay,
Was your
so
goal in
let's get
coming
it.
up here attempting to expose me as a grifter fraud?
No, I just think it's funny that you're always playing these clips, and I just played a clip, and now you're getting kind of a little bit angry about it and saying that I'm going to leave. I'm not going to leave. But let's get back to what you were talking about earlier with the guy that could not provide his sources.
Wait, James. I'm so sorry. Are you saying that there is a parallel that can be drawn between old clips of myself and old clips of Trump?
No, I'm just giving you a clip of yourself because you like to play clips of other people. So it's kind of just I'm playing you a clip of yourself.
Okay, well,
See how
the
it
people that I like to play clips of, that's going to be of Trump. So are you saying that's where the parallel's drawn?
If you can't see some sort of parallel, is you're playing clips, I'm playing a clip. I'm not saying that they're in comparison into the wrongness of their actions. I'm just saying that I'm playing you a clip of yourself, just like you're playing a clip of Trump. I'm not saying that there is a parallel between the two clips. It's pretty easy to understand.
Okay, if there's not a parallel between the two clips, then it wouldn't be a comparison. And you said that there was a comparison. So the reason that I don't think that this
Well, there is a comparison. One's a clip, one's a clip.
So the reason that I don't think a comparison could be made between the two clips, the reason that the clips are played, and the reason that the clips are relevant is because unlike Trump, I could acknowledge that that was cringy and wrong. Okay, I mean, have you ever seen Donald Trump acknowledge a day in his life that when he boasted about hitting on naked teenage girls was a bad thing to do?
They weren't teenage girls, first of all. They were women's Miss Teen. They were not Teen USA. That's not in the clip that you play. You always add that part just to make it sound worse. I do agree what he did was bad in and of itself, but to add the teen part is misleading as well. So maybe don't add that part in as well.
So that's not misleading because we know one of these women who was a teen that had Donald Trump walk in on them on backstage. Her name is Victoria. Today, she is a 30 to 40-year-old woman. In the early aughts and late 90s, she was a teenager that competed in Miss Teen USA, and she'll personally testify to the fact that this is something that Trump had done. But once again, I want you to answer my question. Have you ever seen Donald Trump hold himself accountable for any of these things or acknowledge that it was wrong to do?
No, I think Trump struggles with his arrogance just like you do.
All right. Well, that's going to be like the lack of a comparison, because what was the first thing that I did? Right. I acknowledged that it was cringy and weird and wrong, 110%.
Why do you mute me every time I finish my sentence? It's kind of annoying. I have to unmute every single time. So can you maybe stop doing
Can you
that?
respond to what I've said here?
Yeah, I think that that's one of Trump's mistakes.
That's
Is
not what
not
I asked
owning up
you.
to
That's not what I asked you to respond to. I asked you to respond to the fact that the difference here is going to be the fact that I can acknowledge that was cringy, weird,
Oh, yeah.
and wrong.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
I was a cringy little child, 110%.
Okay, yeah, as long as you admit that. So now back to what you were talking about with the other guest that came up here, and you were saying that you knew exactly.
Wait,
what you were
James,
talking
have you
about.
never heard me admit that before? We talk about this all the time.
Well, I mean, at first you were saying like it wasn't, you were joking. I mean, it's kind of an interesting joke to be lying to your followers.
Satire, like involved in the creation of it. Absolutely, I got carried away.
So-
Like I
so
said, I
you're-
was a
so you're
cringy little
still-
teenager.
You're not owning up to it. You're not owning up to it now. You
Wait,
just
two
went
things.
back.
I don't know why you're equivocating. Two things that can be true at once. So on one hand, it can be true that I was a cringy little teenager and I got carried away in the satire. On the other hand, that could be wrong, right? Because it's like positioning myself as somebody with a lot of money that doesn't actually have a lot of money. Like those two things can be true simultaneously.
Okay, sure. Yep.
So then, what's the issue?
The issue is you were putting on a false narrative.
Oh, so are you trying to
gain your
convince?
followers.
So you're trying to convince me that what I did when I was 16 and 17 was wrong?
And you already agreed to it, so I don't know why we're talking about it anymore. I'm saying if you're owning up to it,
okay.
I'm just saying that at some point your past is going to catch up to you, and at some point you cannot run from your past. And just because you did something stupid in the past doesn't. If you just say all of a sudden now like, oh, I'm sorry for it, at some point people won't give a shit if you make too many mistakes. At some point you're not going to be able to make up for all your mistakes.
Wait, so you're saying at some point my past will catch up to me? I mean, I feel like the only
No,
thing
not yours
that-
in particular. I'm
I feel like
saying
the
in
only
general.
thing that every single Trump supporter on this app likes to talk about is my past. I'm very transparent of who I am. I'm very transparent of who I was. I mean, in fact, if you look up Dean Withers' New York Times, you will read a piece that was co-opted by myself going over my past, the beliefs in which I've held prior. And I honestly just find it like really disingenuous when like you or people on the right like to suggest that this means that I'm a bad person today. I find it very disingenuous when you or other people like to suggest that this means that I'm a grifter, have negative intention, or don't believe in what I say. And obviously, I think that this is done by people on the right for the reason being that you cannot critique or intellectually rebuttal my claims as it relates to why Donald Trump is a bad president or why we should endorse/support progressivism. So you would rather just like to attack facts of my character 3 to 5 years ago. And I think that it's a failing argument because what I can do is take accountability. What I can do is recognize my previous downfalls. And I think that this actually shows us a very interesting picture where this 20-year-old white boy on TikTok can hold himself to a higher level of accountability
Because
than
he
the
got caught.
goddamn president of the United States of America.
Because you got caught. And so you're saying that it wouldn't be bad if Trump did these things as long as he owns up to it? Is that what you're saying? As long as people own up to their mistakes, then it's fine.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and respond to the first thing and then to the second thing. So the first thing that you just said was that it is the case that the only reason I transparently discuss these things is because I've got caught. So, I mean, that's not true at all. I don't understand why you would ever suggest such a false dichotomy. Maybe it's because you want to paint me out to be somebody that I'm not because you're so pissed that I'm right and I could prove you wrong. I mean, you could go into my Discord and find an announcement 7 months before anything about how I use the N-word when I was 14 was published online, about me talking about my prior usage of the N-word. And if you're saying that it is the case that because I got caught, that's why I changed who I am as a person, well, then please explain to me why I made that
I'll tell
change
you
of
right
who
now.
I am as a person before I even had a public platform.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Like,
right
you
now. Why
understand,
would you?
the day I started going live on TikTok with like 10, 20, and 30 fucking viewers was the day I begun advocating for progressivism publicly, meaning and implying that I had to change who I was before that point.
Yeah, so why would you apologize to your community for something that they didn't know about? It seems kind of suspicious that you would know that this would get brought up and you were kind of warning them beforehand that this was something that could be brought up, you wouldn't just randomly tell your community, "Oh, by the way, guys, I used to use."
See
Who the hell would
everybody.
do that?
See everybody.
Who the hell would
See,
do that?
see everybody. So what James
Who
is
the
trying.
hell would
See
do
what James is trying to do is to paint the lose-lose. So he's saying on one hand, if I don't come out about it until after it's made public knowledge, then I'm a bad person and I only addressed it because I got caught. But on the other hand, if I talk about it before anything comes out publicly, I'm a bad person because I was manipulating my fan base and releasing this knowledge, expecting it to come out in the future. Can you please tell us a third option to either coming out about it beforehand or coming out about it after?
Yeah. So if I
What's-
go
what's
and
the
I
third
slap
option?
if I go and slap my friend Jimmy,
No,
in
no,
the
no, no,
face,
no,
I'm
no.
not
Tell me
gonna-
the third
I'm
option.
not gonna go
What was
home
the
and
third
tell my
option?
parents I
What was
slapped Jimmy
what
in the
was
face.
what
I'm
was
just
the
gonna
third
say
option?
sorry to Jimmy
What was the
myself.
third option? Tell me what the third option was. What was the third option? Because you're saying if I came out about it before, I'm a bad person. If I came out about it after, I'm a bad person. So what is the third option of when I could discuss these things without being a bad person? Tell me. Tell me what
Yeah.
that third option is, James.
Yeah, I will. You go to the person in which you use the N-word to. I don't know what kind of context it was used in, but you tell them in particular, I am sorry for this.
Wait,
and
why would I
regret you."
apologize? Why would I apologize to a white boy for using the N-word?
I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
I-
the context of which I use the N-words, and I don't talk about this context because it like promotes the idea that like I'm trying to excuse the action, or at least sets people's takeaway. So I don't do that. So I never talk about this context. I never talk about this context. So the context of the usage of the N-word when I was 14 was my friend at the time, who was white, sent me a Fortnite edit, and then I said in response that has goated my N-word. Okay, right? So like, no, I'm obviously not going to apologize to that other white boy for using the N-word. Okay, right? The apology would be to black individuals in this country, right, for like propagating the usage of the term, as well as for the very obvious racist implications. As well as the normalization of it, like socially speaking. But I obviously don't owe an apology to like the white boy that I said that's goated my N-word to. No, not at all. Right?
Yeah. I was more so talking about the video of you acting like you had all that money, because I think that when you're 14, you make really stupid mistakes.
So now you want to pivot and move on. Well, I'm not ready to pivot and move on yet, because you owe me and everybody else an explanation about the fact that you said if I came out about this beforehand, I'm bad, and if I came out about this after, I'm also bad. So then when was the time to come out about this and talk about this without being bad?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of I can't tell your own self-reflection. I think that it's kind of just a self-reflection thing.
Okay.
Because I
So
think a lot
you're
of
saying the way
people-
to become a better person is through self-reflection. So right, obviously you don't have access to like my internal dialogue, you don't have access
You
to
have
my
access
memories,
to Trump's
you don't have
internal
access
dialogue.
you don't have access to my beliefs. So the only thing you can do is reflect upon what you do have access to, which is the statements I make, the beliefs in which I hold to, what I have said as it relates to these events, and the person that I am today, right? And when we look at the statements that I've made as it relates to these circumstances, when we look at the beliefs in which I hold to be true today, and when we look at like external beliefs in which you have access to, such as the fact that I condemn the usage of the N-word amongst white Americans, when I advocate for an eradication of racism, not just in America, but on the global stage, and I talk about my active deconstruction, and I advocate for others to do that same deconstruction, not just as it relates to systemic racism, but also as it relates to other forms of bigotry, maybe that as directed towards immigrants, such as xenophobia, other forms of bigotry, such as homophobia, or as I relate for overall more progressive ideals. Obviously, it is the case in which I have self-reflected, I have changed my beliefs, and I'm a significantly different person today than I was at 14, meaning under your view, I would have sufficiently satisfied your request of going from being a bad person to being a good person. So now that you understand that I'm a good person, do you wish to push further on the point?
Yeah, you're a great person. I agree. Let's move past this point.
And now,
because
James, I know exactly who you are, and we've had good conversation before. Did you decide to come up here and crash out today because I haven't let you on my live in the last 3 weeks?
Nope.
Are you sure, buddy? You've come
Hey,
up
let's-
you've come up every other day for the last 3 weeks, and I've told you
now you're
that
gonna
we've
kick me.
No.
Now
I'm
you're
asking
gonna kick
you a
me.
question. You've come up every other day for the last 3 weeks requesting a debate, even though I've already talked to you maybe 5 times. Okay, and honestly, once again, those 5 times I've spoken to you, I thought that they were good. I thought it was good dialogue. You and me have had 5 debates. Obviously, if you thought that I was a racist piece of shit, why the fuck would you have good dialogue with me back those 5 times? All right. I just kind of think that you've gotten upset because I've refused to talk to you more than 5 times and I've suggested these boundaries against you. So then today, when you came up, instead of requesting a debate with me like you have the last 5 times, you instead just played that clip to say, oh, you know what? This Dean guy really pissed me off because he didn't want to talk to me. So now I'm going to try to convince as many of his viewers as possible that they shouldn't listen to him and think that he's a bad person. Because Dean has caused turmoil for me, emotionally speaking, because he doesn't want to talk to me like I want to talk to him. Now I'm going to try to cause turmoil for him by manufacturing fictitious outrage over things that have already been addressed a billion times. Is that what you came up here today to do?
Oh, so now you're getting a little angry that I played the clip.
Wait, how is asking a very fair question?
I don't know what it seems like.
How's asking a very fair question indicating anger? I'm not angry.
I don't. This is my first time ever talking to you. So let's get into what you were talking about.
Wait. Now you're lying about not talking to me before? Why would you do that?
Okay, let's get into the debate. You said you wanted a debate. So
Oh my God! So your tactic there was just to completely lie to suggest that what I was saying was wrong. But because we know that you're lying, that merely affirms everything I said to be true. Why would you lie in response to a set of claims if the claims were false?
If the claims were false?
Right, if everything that I just said was false, why did you lie in response by saying that you've never talked to me before?
Dean, if you cannot sense sarcasm, like the clear non-sarcasm in your video saying that you have $1 million in a duffel bag.
So now you're saying that the last claim was sarcastic? That didn't sound sarcastic to me. Everybody, when James just said that he's never spoken to me before, did that sound sarcastic to any one of you?
That's what I say to you every time. Okay, let's get into what I was saying. In 2018...
Right. All right. Well, we're going to move on to the next guest. Let's go and get the next Trump supporter up here. We're going to go and get them loaded in right now. And then obviously everybody, it is a case that I don't mind talking about that. I pride myself on transparency. I think it's really important to do so because I want to be able to propagate the message that you can go from being a bad person that does bad things to being a good person that does good things. And if I didn't believe that, then I wouldn't be sitting on live for 4 hours every single day hosting these conversations and having these debates with people in which I believe hold false beliefs. So that is why these conversations are so important. That is why I pride myself on transparency. That is why there's literally an article about me on New York Times talking about, right, who I was and who I am today. All right. And if you can't recognize that, you're either like a fictitious rage baiter like James that hates me because you ain't me, hates me because I'm right and I've proven you wrong incessantly. Or like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe you haven't listened to enough of me. What's going on, Robert? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay, how do you?
1806.
Okay, awesome. Could you disconnect any Bluetooth device that you may have connected to your phone?
It's my AirPod.
Yeah, could you take your AirPods out for me? Phenomenal. While he's taking those AirPods out real quick, I'd like to thank Kita for the $15 over on Venmo. That is KITA. Saying thank you for putting up with all the BS and keeping us informed as fast as you possibly can. I appreciate that, Kita. As well as Narissa with the $20 over on Venmo for the Coach duffel bag. Thank you for the $20, Narissa. As well as Jenna with the $10 for the $1 million Coach Duffel Bag Fund. Let's go, you guys. We are going to make the $1 million Coach Duffel Bag real, LFG. As well as Sadie with the $10 over on Venmo. I really appreciate you for that. Ian with a $5. And Claudia! Thank you so much for the $60 donation over on Venmo. Claudia says, thank you for all that you do to educate people. The Hispanic community thanks you. Claudia, that is so incredibly kind of you. Holy fuck, you guys. Show some love to Claudia down below in that comment section, literally right now for the $60 donation. That is seriously so incredibly kind of you. I want to see at least 600 Claudia W's down below in that chat. As well as Andrew, thank you for the 10. Tara, thank you for the 10. Lee with the 25 cents. Finn with the $5. And then Kaylee, thank you so much for the $15 on PayPal. And Lauren with a 10. Show some love to Kaylee and Lauren down below in that chat while we're hopping into this next debate here. Mr. Robert, take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
I just want to start by saying there's no way I can talk to you without my AirPods in. So if it's really that bad of a problem.
Unfortunately, I'm going to drop you, man. I do apologize. The mic quality is just sufficiently bad to justify me moving on to the next guest. What is going on? Katie, can you stop requesting to come back up? I don't like talking to you.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't like talking to you. Please stop requesting to come up. That would be great. We are going to go ahead and move on to the next guest at this point. Everybody, if you are in that queue, make sure that means that you're from America, at least 18 years old, and you support Donald J. Trump. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Make sure that we're also double tapping on those phone screens, everybody. What is going on? Do you support Trump, Mason? All right, Mason dropped. I definitely felt like Mason was going to be a little boy. Also, if you're watching and you're like, hey, I like this guy.
It's me again, Dean. Fuck you, faggot.
And there we go. He just came up here to say the F slur, apparently. Yeah. Sorry you guys had to hear that. Moving on to the next guest. We got some emotional men today. Moving on. Here we go. Basically, appreciate you for the galaxy. That is so incredibly kind of you. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Going to drop a MAGA down below in that chat attached to your age. We'll get you pulled up onto the live right now. But as I was saying, if you'd like to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio over on TikTok. I get 100% of those proceeds over on those platforms, as well as I could shout you out and read any and all attached messages. You could also find my Venmo, my PayPal over in the pinned message on the YouTube stream. What is going on, TaylorMade? Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir. Hey, can I switch my headphones real quick?
Yeah, honestly, if you could disconnect any type of Bluetooth devices, that would be sick.
All right, bet. Hold on.
All right, while he's doing that, guys, make sure that we're double tapping. Phenomenal. All right, here we go. Yo, Veteran! Thank you for the $50 super chat over on YouTube, saying, sending Boomer respect for your uphill battle against ill-equipped cultists every day. Keep fighting for your generation, sir. Dude, Veteran, we fucking love you. Show some love to Veteran down below in the chat, everybody. Let's get 500 Veteran W's down below. We love you, Veteran. We love you so much. Now, Taylor, are you ready to go? Okay, I don't know if Taylor's here. Taylor, we cannot hear you. Well, give Taylor maybe like another 10 seconds here.
No need.
Are you driving?
No, I don't drive.
Most obvious lie ever told? Most obvious lie ever told by anybody ever moment? Crazy work. Let's go to get that next guest up in here. Here we go, y'all. Eliza, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, saying James seems jealous. Dude, honestly, he's just mad that he missed out on the rich lifestyle. Isn't that right, Eliza? Thank you for the $10. That is incredibly kind of you. Shout out to Eliza down below in that chat while we're getting the next guest up in here, y'all. Most obvious lie of all time. Most obvious lie of all time. Okay, here we go. Moving on to the next guest. Phenomenal. What's going on? You support Trump? Rose, thank you so much for the sage slash. Hello, Lacrosse? They're not even here. Wow, it is incredibly hard to find a single Trump supporter for us to talk to today. I'm not going to lie. Very, very difficult for us to find a single Trump supporter to talk to today. If you're watching and you'd like to come up and have a debate with me on why you support Donald J. Trump, let us know down below. We'll get you loaded up into the live. What's up, Trevor? Do you support Trump? Okay, Trevor's not here. What about you, Jamit?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man? You support Trump?
Yes, I voted Velveeta. Yes.
All right, Jamit. Well, let's have a debate. Let's do it. Real quick, before we hop into the debate, guys, I don't think that this is fake. Real quick, Ashley, thank you for the $25 over on Venmo, saying Piper loves your show. Please give her a shout out. Piper, if you're watching with Ashley right now, shout out to you. Let's get 250 Piper W's down below in the chat. Huge shout out to Piper. Thank you for watching and loving the show. You are phenomenal. As well as Catalina with a $15 over on Venmo for hurting the right side's egos. That's right, Catalina. Thank you for the 15. Shout out to Catalina down below. As well as to Shelby for the $20 over on that Venmo, saying in honor of Arkansas against Trump and fascism. Fuck fascism, fuck Trump, Shelby. I really appreciate you for the $20 donation. Let's get some W Shelby, some W Piper, some W Catalinas, and some W Elizas down below in that chat. Take it away, Jamit. Tell us why you support Trump.
Hello?
Hey.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
It is. I can't even believe that this is real.
What?
Don't worry about it. Why do you support Trump?
Well, you know, I've been around a long time and I've seen a lot of administrations in my life, but I've yet to see a man like Donald J. Trump who stands up to the people. Now, you can't say that he doesn't stand up to the people.
No, I actually completely agree that Donald Trump stands up and against the American people. Absolutely. I mean, what else would we call it when he's trying to pass tax policy that's going to reduce the after-tax income of 80% of us? Or what else are we going to call it when he's illegally deporting undocumented immigrants and illegally detaining illegal immigrants for 3 months with no reason? Obviously, he's standing up and against the people. That's why we should get him out of office.
Well, you have your opinion, and I appreciate you sharing it with me. But my opinion is, I don't think that Mrs. Harris would have had a very good time with this problem in the Middle East.
Really?
I don't think so.
Really? I disagree. How good of a time is Trump having with it? I mean, let's look at the facts here. So he bombed Iran, trying to wipe out their nuclear facilities. U.S. intelligence this morning tells us that he actually only set him back by a couple months. And then he tried to get like a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran. It turns out there was no official ceasefire agreement. He lied. That's what we learned from Iran. But then Iran was still like, okay, Trump, even though like you didn't actually get a ceasefire, we'll still agree to the terms if Israel does. And the next thing you know, Israel is breaking the ceasefire and Donald Trump is saying fuck on national television. So Chad, thank you for the work hard. Wait, that actually went to Jamit. There you go. Jamit has a new gift.
But Dean, but he did disable 3 different nuclear facilities.
Right, but we didn't get any gain out of that. Like, we only set them back like 2 months, and it was at the expense of like possibly enacting terror attacks on American soil, 14 ballistic missiles launched at our military bases in Qatar, further emboldening more strikes on Israel, further emboldening
You
more
should
strikes
thank
from
Obama
Israel to
for that.
Iran. What? No.
You should thank Obama for enriching. Please don't deny that. It's
Obama's
very
the
true.
one that got us the deal that stopped their production in nuclear weapons.
He released $5 billion.
Well, I think he may have even released more than $5 billion, and I was completely on board with that. Completely on board with it.
He did it without congressional approval, Dean.
So while we were in the deal with Iran,
You're going to gloss over that?
It was a deal made between 6 countries.
Without Congress.
I don't care. I think it was a great
Wow. So then you shouldn't care that Donald Trump did what he did.
deal. What? So
Fair
the reason,
point, right?
No, not a fair point. So the reason why I liked what Obama did with the denuclearization agreement is because it prevented Iran from their further development of nuclear weapons. And we know for a fact that's what that deal did because the IAOA had 24/7 access and surveillance to all of their nuclear production plants. They dismantled the means that they'd used to produce the enriched uranium, as well as they shipped 97% of the uranium to Russia. Also, not to mention that deals such as these don't require congressional approval. They have never required congressional approval. They're typically made between the president of America and the leadership of other countries. And then if you're saying that, well, then I'd be forced into saying that therefore I can't care what Donald Trump does. Okay, well, like my main reason why I care what Donald Trump did isn't because he did it without congressional approval. Even if he had congressional approval for those strikes, I still would be holding the same position that I hold to be true today, that they were bad because they unnecessarily increased global tensions and introduced crazy risks, such as Iran shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, which would spike the price of gasoline and send the price of oil spiraling. And of course, the threat of activating sleeper agents, sleeper cells in America, or the threat of going back into war in the Middle East via retaliatory responses from Iran towards our military bases.
And why would we be worried about sleeper cells, Dean?
Why would we be worried about sleeper cells?
Right, maybe because we've had a border that's been out of control for the last 4 years. Can you admit that, please?
Okay. You know, this is a typical tactic, pivot, deflect away from the claims that I made.
It's not pivot, deflect. It's not.
Yeah, because we're going from talking about the bad decisions that Trump has made to talking about your claims about why Biden was a bad president. It's absolutely a deflection.
Would you like me to readdress your question?
Yeah, for sure. And then I don't mind addressing the border in the last 4 years after it, but it's just like going to be 2 significantly different conversations.
Okay. So what was your question?
Yeah, that Donald Trump was terrible for pulling us out of the deal that we had with Iran, preventing them from further development of nuclear weapons. And then the strikes that he launched against Iran were really bad because of the potential outcomes of those strikes being another war in the Middle East, global inflation, and significantly more expensive gas, and even potential terror attacks on American soil with the use of activated sleeper cells on behest of the Iranian government.
It's very simple, Dean. We support Israel.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
No, it is. It truly is that simple.
It's a geopolitical move. I'm
Right.
not going to say that it's not, because I would be lying if I told you anything different. But that is our stronghold in the Middle East.
No,
You must
absolutely.
understand that.
What you just said is absolutely true of the American government. Israel first, America last. We need to do whatever Israel wants us to do, regardless if it's throwing us back into another unnecessary war that would potentially cost thousands of lives of American military troops, regardless if it would waste trillions of dollars, and honestly, fucking regardless of how Israel treats America. Like, you understand that Israel broke the ceasefire agreement that Donald Trump set forth. Bull, but guess what? You don't care. You don't care that they broke the ceasefire agreement that Trump set forth. It is still Israel first. You let Israel do whatever the fuck they want to, even if they're breaking our ceasefire agreements and having strikes on Iranian prisons ruled as international war crimes by the UN. You don't care. You just want them to do whatever they want. It is absolutely disgusting. Tell me why you are willing to put Israel first, no matter what, even if they're disrespecting the agreements that we set forth and launching international war crimes on other countries.
Sure, I'll be happy to. October 7, 2023 is all I need to say. It's just like Japan coming after the U.S. in 43 in Pearl Harbor. That's a mosquito coming after a bumblebee.
Oh,
We're
yes,
dragging.
yes. Israel's the perpetual victim, everybody. No matter what, Israel's the victim. So because of October 7th, when Israel launches international war crime attacks on Iranian prisons, we need to support them because they're the victim, everybody. When Israel breaks the ceasefire agreements that we set forth, we need to support them because they're the victim, everybody. Right? Even though October 7th was not the start of conflict because Israel had illegally occupied the West Bank, they're the victim. Even though the Nakba and the ethnic cleansing of over 500,000 Palestinians, they're the victim. Everybody, I'm going to put you in to a trance right now. You are all in the trance that Israel is always the victim, no matter what, and they are well within their rights to do whatever they want, whenever they want, to whomever they want, even if it's America, even if it's the 54,000 innocent Palestinian individuals that they've killed, even if it's Iran, they get to do whatever they want. See how that's your argument?
How many times did Israel come to the table with deals that Palestine shut them down because it wasn't all of Israel?
Okay.
Tell me, Dean, because you seem to know it all.
And now you're shifting the conversation to Palestine.
No.
Yes, you are. We
No,
were
you
talking
just
about
brought them
Iran.
up.
We were talking
You
about
brought them up.
We were talking
You
about
brought
Iran.
up the West Bank. You brought up the West Bank. I brought up October 7th.
As a reason to detail why it is the case that no, Israel's not a perpetual victim. Now, listen, I'm more than happy to talk to you about Palestine, but we're still not done with our conversation about Iran. So let's finish our conversation about Iran. And now you think that Israel's justified in doing whatever the hell they want, whenever the hell they want to do it, because it's Israel first, America last, and then we could talk about Palestine.
Right. When I say we support Israel, I say we support Israel. I don't say necessarily for all, and I'm good. I said this at the beginning and I saw you smile. Not for all the right reasons, but because of our geopolitical positioning in the Middle East. If you can't understand that, then I get it. I don't agree with what you're saying, a lot of what you're saying. But if you look at the situations, if you look at Syria, if you look at Sudan, if you look at all the surrounding countries of Iran, they're all terrified of this country, and they have been for 40 years.
I have a question.
They've had it.
Wait, I have a question.
Sure.
Wait, so if you think it's like Israel first, we need to do whatever we can to protect Israel. Israel first, America last. So then you think that Donald Trump should literally be fucking impeached for pulling us out of the nuclear agreement that we had with Iran, because that essentially gave Iran the green light to continue construction of nuclear weapons, and which would first be used against Israel, right?
But you're forgetting the fact that Obama gave them back the money, Dean.
Why did he do that?
Why? What do you mean, why did he do that?
Why did he unfreeze their bank accounts in South Korea?
I honestly, I don't know if I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit and perpetuate something I don't know, but I do know that he gave the money back.
Right. It was a part of the denuclearization agreement. Okay, we said if you give us the most comprehensive full access to all of your nuclear facilities, 24/7 surveillance overseen by the IAEA as well as the UN, and you deconstruct all of the means in which you possess to further enrich your uranium, and you just give 97% of it to Russia, as long as you waste all of the billions of dollars that you've spent on all of that, and you stop the production of nukes and dismantle it immediately and give us complete oversight to make sure that you're honoring the agreement, then we will unfreeze the bank accounts that you have in South Korea. Okay, so basically the trade-off is giving them back their own money, given that they are not producing any nuclear weapons, and we know it for a fact. And I would say that is definitely better than pulling us out of the agreement, greenlighting them to further produce nuclear weapons that they could then turn around and use on America, or as you said, use on Israel. And because you're Israel first, you're a crazy Zio. Well, that is like fucking World War III right there. You know, like the fact that Donald Trump pulled us out of that agreement, giving them the green light to further the construction of their nukes just so they could turn it around and use them on Israel, like Netanyahu has obviously been saying forever, and obviously Netanyahu's never wrong, right? Like that is a travesty.
So, Dean, why does Iran have their uranium enrichment major facilities 300 feet under the ground if they're not doing anything that they shouldn't be doing? In plain sight, can you please answer that? Thank you.
Okay, so your question is, if they were honoring the agreement, then why were the facilities 300 feet underground?
Correct. And they weren't there before.
Right. Yeah,
yes,
for
go
sure.
ahead.
For sure. Well, the first answer to this question is, well, this is a fucking red herring. We had 24/7 access and surveillance to the locations, even the ones that were underground. But the bigger reason is radiation, right? It's uranium, okay? So, I mean, if there's any issues at these facilities and you have a type of chemical spill or something goes wrong and the machines explode, well, guess what? You're going to want to keep that radiation underground to reduce the likelihood of radiation poisoning for their citizens, radiation poisoning for their ecosystem, for their crops, for anything or anybody in the region. It's just obviously the smart decision to make. And like my evidence of this might be Chernobyl, right? So, but once again, this is a massive red herring because we had 24/7 surveillance access to all of their nuclear facilities, even the ones 300 feet underground.
And we never trusted them. And now they're eliminated. And I'm happy.
Wait. When that agreement was signed under Obama, yeah, we did trust them because we had oversight not from Iran, but from the IAEA, the EU, and the UN. 24/7 access to surveillance. The IAEA reported 0 infractions in the 3 years that the agreement was made.
I'll have to take your word on that. I can't disprove it. I trust you. You're a very knowledgeable guy. I'll have to concede on that. But
so then why do you support Trump even though he pulled us out of that agreement, greenlighting them for their further construction of nuclear weapons?
Because I don't believe that what's going on right now in the Middle East should be happening at all. And I don't think a country that says unalive to Americans in front of their leader is a healthy thing for American people. That's what they sat and chanted in front of the Ayatollah.
Okay,
you saw the clip, right?
This is a big deflection once again because I'm asking you why.
A deflection when America is threatened by a known T group?
The deflection is that you're specifically making was because I was asking you, well, then why do you support Donald Trump taking us out of that agreement and giving this terrorist government the green light to further the development of nuclear weapons? And then you're just simply pivoting to saying, well, I'm actually not going to answer your question, Dean. I'm not going to explain how that was a justified decision of Trump. I'm just simply going to call their government a terrorist and say that they hate America and further spew propaganda to justify bombing them. But I mean, in accordance with your logic here, right, would you say that we should also drop bombs on North Korea because they say the same shit?
I don't think what I said has that same implication, but that's a stretch, I would say.
What is worse? Like North Korea has been threatening to fucking nuke us. Okay, that's obviously worse than their leadership chatting death to America.
Trump has set foot on North Korean soil.
I know, and there's absolutely nothing that came out of it, right? Like, at least Iran was willing to work with us on that nuclear peace agreement. When he stepped onto North Korean soil to try to broker a similar nuclear peace agreement with them, they signed the agreement, took pictures, and then violated it 2 months later. For the entirety of the 3 years that the nuclear peace agreement with Iran was signed into law, it is the case that there's 0 violations reported. If anything, North Korea is less stable, more anti-American, and more unwilling to work with us diplomatically speaking than Iran.
Are you content with that explanation?
I'm not sure of the question that you're asking, but I am definitely not content with the fact that you say it's Israel first, it's America first. We need to protect the interests of these two countries, and that means that we need to absolutely just destroy Iran because they're going to nuke us all and kill us all. But then somehow you support the guy that pulled us out of a nuclear peace agreement we had with them, that gave them the green light to further construct nuclear weapons. I just don't understand how Donald Trump pulling us out of that nuclear peace agreement coincides with your Israel first, American first, anti-Iranian claims that you've made here, because none of this would be happening in accordance with your view if he never pulled us out of that agreement to begin with.
I'm not so sure that that's the truth. I think that's a perspective. I think it's a perspective, and you're entitled to your perspective. You're drawing conclusions.
Well, that conclusion is being drawn by the fact that it was the most comprehensive nuclear peace agreement ever signed. It gave us access to 24/7 surveillance of their facilities.
Hold on.
They economically benefited off of us.
Ever signed?
Yes. It is the most comprehensive.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am. That
Please
is a
look
fact.
back in 1987. Please.
What happened in 1987?
Take a look. You'll see.
Okay, can you tell me?
It's big news in Iran. If you don't know this, then it's probably not a topic you want to talk about.
Okay, can you give me like an example of like a more comprehensive nuclear peace agreement that gave
Ayatollah
more
Khomeini.
outside
Khomeini.
oversight onto the production of nuclear
Khomeini is
weapons?
all I have to say. The Ayatollah was Khomeini at the time.
Okay, so what's
Please look at it.
So are you saying that there was a that there's an agreement signed in that year too?
No, I'm saying Iran broke deals left and right all
Iran-
through the 80s and 90s.
Oh, okay. Well, we know that they didn't break this one.
How do you know that?
Yeah, because of the IAEI. The IAEA,
I don't.
the UN and the EU.
I don't care for acronyms. I never did. I don't care what people say. Dean, given the track history of Iran, they're not trustworthy people. Very simple.
Well, actually, no. When we look at the track record history, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency, the EU and the UN, they absolutely were reliable as it related to that denuclearization agreement. And like honestly, like you could probably find reason for this out of like self-interest of Iranians, right? Because like the Iranians, they had reason to honor this agreement as they did. Right? Like it led to a better economy for them. We lifted our sanctions on them. We unfroze their bank accounts. Right? They benefited a lot from this, and all that they had to do was reliably give up their nukes, give up their enriched uranium, give us complete, total, and utter oversight over their facilities, ship off their enriched uranium to Russia, and dismantle the machines that they had that they used to construct enriched uranium. The only unreliable negotiator as it related to that denuclearization agreement was Trump when he pulled us out of it for no other reason that it had Obama's signature on it.
Okay, I'll give you that, but can you tell me what uranium enrichment, what the sole purpose of it is, or the only purpose of it could possibly be?
Well, that's a false question because there's more than one purpose of enriched uranium.
Tell me.
Yeah, for sure. So like one purpose would be nuclear energy. Another purpose, like higher levels, would be nuclear weapons. But
all
you also
nuclear.
have like you also
They all
have like
fall
you
into
also-
the
you also
category
have,
of
like,
nuclear.
weapon-
Thank you.
You also have like weapon,
Thank
like
you.
sorry, not weapons, but you have like medical reasons such as like X-ray machines, MRI machines.
Are they using those in Iran?
Are they using those in Iran? Like
MRI machines in Iran? I don't think
maybe
so.
like electrical
It's a very poor
generators,
nation. I have family there.
submarines. They're a very poor nation. You understand that the largest shopping mall in the world is in Tehran, right?
You're either rich or you're poor in Iran.
Yeah,
You're
well,
not. There's no middle class.
So, well, I'd assume that the rich people there have access to X-rays and MRIs, right?
Possibly.
Okay, great.
I'm not rich.
You kind of sound like Trump.
That shouldn't be.
I'm
sorry you feel that way.
Is this Trump, everybody? Like he's
Trump
kind of
wouldn't.
he's kind of like acting. He's kind of like acting like Trump too. Like I'm
I'm
just
not.
like yeah, I'm just like explaining to you why you're wrong. I'm like demonstrating to you that they honored that agreement, right? Like, do you agree or disagree with Donald Trump pulling us out of it?
I honestly don't know. If you say it, I told you before. I conceded. I said I trust you on this. I did, Dean. I said I concede. I don't know.
Okay. Well, is
I
there
did
anything-
concede.
That's great. Is there anything else that you want to go over? Mr. Trump?
It took you fucking long enough, brother. That's all I'm going to say. I enjoyed your company. Thank you very much.
It took you long enough, brother. That's all I'm gonna say. I enjoyed your company. It took you long enough. He was doing like a fake. He was doing like a fake voice there. I don't know why he was doing a fake voice. He was obviously still like an older guy that probably actually supported Trump. We're gonna go to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute to get that next guest up in the box. We're gonna go to get Colt loading in. Fake voice for no reason? I have no clue.
What's up, Dean?
Was that the same guy as earlier? I don't know. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes, but I want to
Okay,
pick
how do you-
back. What? How old am I?
Yeah.
18.
What year were you born in?
2005.
2005, born in 2005, 18 years old. What month were you born in 05? I don't even know if that's possible.
It is possible.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You'd be
I promise.
No, you'd be 19 at a minimum. Nice math, bro.
Wait. Hold. Don't.
Get the fuck out of here. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. We're going to get that next guest Nass up in here. All right, guys, it has been 2 hours and we've talked about nothing but Iran. Obviously, these conversations are going to be important because it is the case that's what's going on right now. But we're going to also try to talk about some other things. I'm really getting like sick and tired of like the overplayed identical conversations. You know what I mean? I've just been repeating the same thing for the last 2 hours.
Meet again, Dean.
What's going on? Do you support Trump?
I still support him.
All right, well, let's have a convo
still-
about it, man. Let's have a convo about it, man.
Yes, sir.
Now, before we hop into it, I need to thank Cora, Brian, and Taylor, all for the $5 each over on Venmo. I appreciate you so much for the love.
Let's
As well
go,
as
Cora,
Ashley-
Brian, Taylor. Let's go.
Fuck yeah, as well as
Y'all send Dean some money. He did. Hey, Dean the man. Yeah, let's go. Send Dean some money. I support you too, Dean. We need these conversations. Y'all send Dean some money. W Dean. We disagree just a little bit, but W Dean. He's smart. He could convince me.
Okay,
You can
all right.
convince me of something.
I'm going to try to convince you. That's right, sir.
That's
Let's
why
get
I'm
it.
here, because I
Let's
need to
get
be
it.
convinced of something. We talked before, man.
Let's get it.
And I
Let's
was-
get it. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
We'll talk
yeah.
again. We'll talk again. Now, I just 2 more people here. Ashley, thank you for the $5. As well as Eliza, thank you so much for the $30 over on Venmo.
Eliza!
Hell yeah! Hell yeah,
Let's
Eliza
go,
says.
Eliza.
Eliza says, why does Jammeh trust Israel when Netanyahu said that Iran was only weeks away from nukes in 2015 and then 3 months later we had a deal and found no nukes? He's actually been saying that since the 70s, Eliza. It's kind of ridiculous. And then a couple other people here. Let's see here. Andrew, thank you so much for the $10.
Let's go,
saying
Andrew.
that people change for the better. You keep up the good work. Proud of you. Thank you for the love, Andrew. As well as Kaylee with the $10 saying thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for the love, Kaylee. Milani with the $5. And then let's see here. Charles. Dude, Charles, thank you
Let's
so
go,
much for
Charles.
the $5. Sorry, for the $50 donation over
Whoa,
on
times that
PayPal.
by 10, everybody. Yo,
Let's give
$50.
500 Charles W's
Let's
down
go,
below.
Charles.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Show some love to
Let's
Charles
go,
down below.
Charles.
And then also, yeah, Charles, I'm going to make sure that I read that message to myself while I'm letting this guest make his argument. But thank you so much for the $50, Charles. Now, take it away, NASA. How the hell do you still support Trump?
Because I think we told you, it's the feeling of the guy, right? It's like, you make sense. However, look how much he gets away with. And he changes the political. I never seen in my whole lifetime, I never seen Iran act like a little child. Like he even though he does things in ways that I wouldn't prefer to do, when he does them, it's somehow effective. Even the terrorists, he put terrorists on everybody. Then he takes them back, but then he finds a deal somehow. I just like the guy. And I believe he could make everything. He's one of those guys that could make everything work by the craziest means. I just believe in him. I believe in him. Like he hit Iran.
Dude.
And Iran is like,
He didn't even make that one work. He said that he hit
it didn't
them.
work. No plan is perfect, Dean. I get what you're saying, but look how Iran. Okay, we'll stop. We'll stop now. You know, they're like little children. He got Israel. It's like Israel and Iran is his little children, and Trump is bullying them and just playing straight. I like that. I like that straight. It make me feel safe. I feel like nothing's going to be done to us.
Okay.
No matter how much people talk, I think they fear Trump.
Okay.
I like that. That's the thing I support, Dean. Talk to me though. Talk to me. Maybe I'm going crazy, but just talk to me.
All right. Listen. So first and foremost, okay, nobody specifically fears Trump, but a lot of people in a lot of countries specifically fear America. Okay? So I would say that there's like close to a zero threat of Iran like launching an invasion or attacks on like mainland soil just because we are who we are, and regardless of who the president is, holy fucking shit, if they launch a terrorist attack on American soil, we're gonna go full fucking bombs, guns ablazing, bald eagle soaring through the sky. Like regardless of who the president is. So I mean, I think that we need to point that out. So
that's a fair point.
That we should exclude the idea that other countries are fearful of launching militant attacks on America.
May I Jake one little point? No, 2 seconds. Okay, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
But then my second point is here. I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of world leaders that have really taken advantage of Trump because they think that he's easy to manipulate, such as like Putin when he rejected Trump's ceasefire agreement, and then Donald Trump just straight up started fucking begging him to achieve a ceasefire with Ukraine, even though he just defunded Ukraine. And I mean, we have leaked Kremlin documents where Putin says that Trump is easy to manipulate. Go figure. Or like the fact that Donald Trump puts Israel first, even though Israel is ethnically cleansing Palestinians, committing war crimes by bombing Iranian hospitals, and even disrespecting the ceasefire agreement that we set forth. They violated Trump's ceasefire agreement, right? And I think that needs to be kept in mind. They're taking advantage of Trump there. He's weak and he's easy to manipulate. So I don't know. I just don't really see any positive takeaway that we got from bombing Iran either. Like, what was the positive takeaway? Destructing all their nuclear capabilities? No. U.S. intelligence this morning said that we just set them back by a month or two.
Hey, better a month or two than they having it yesterday. Look, I think your point about America is valid and always been, but the fear that he might actually use the power that we hold is there. You know what I'm saying? So I get, and it's Israel first. It's the Bible. I know y'all got a thing about the Bible. I don't. It's just you gotta believe in something.
It's not biblical. It's biblical.
Well,
it's not from the Bible to say that we need to put Israel.
Well, that's how we view it though, right? Even if you will be right on that, if you could break it down and it's just how we view it. It is what it is. That's the reason why, really, right? The Bible says protect Israel, right? That's
where?
So,
where does the Bible say that?
No, I didn't say it said it. I'm just saying that's what the belief is.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. That's why.
Hey, I'm going to be honest. It has been 2 hours. I've been talking about the same thing over and over.
I don't want to talk about that part. We can talk about something else. Why else? It's just certain topics. More careful with words like the pronoun thing or how we view each other and what we call each other. I think Trump is more vocal on defending common positions that people commonly believe about that stuff. It's certain things I like about him, Dean.
So, Maria, thank you for the coconut tree. So you support Trump because he doesn't like pronouns?
Well, not pronouns in general. I'm saying I'm trying to be safe with the words.
Maria, send me $4 over on PayPal saying let's go, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to be safe with the words.
Just keep it real. Give me something here. Why do you support Trump?
Because the men in women's sports, I disagree with that, right?
Yeah.
And he comes out and says it. I like that. Whether you can have a counterpoint, this is why I support Trump. I like that he actually says these things, and there's a lot of people who feel that way. That's why we vote for him, right? He says the things we feel, whether you disagree with him or not.
Okay, so you're saying because you're saying that you support Donald Trump because he wants to keep trans women, not men, trans women out of women's sports. So here's the big fucking issue. Just listen to what I have to say. Listen to what I have to say. And Felicity, thank you for the $7 over on PayPal. So first and foremost, this is absolutely why Democrats are winning elections all across this country. Okay, because while the GOP is focused on who's in the potties, we're focused on common sense solutions for everyday Americans. The fact that you are willing to say that you just want to cast out the 350 million Americans that live here, right, make their lives worse so we could further oppress literally 12 trans women in the NCAA is fucking ridiculous to me. Like, fascism is reintroduced into America. Donald Trump fulfills all 14 characteristics. You don't care because he's making life harder for 12 trans women. He is unconstitutionally deporting undocumented immigrants, violating their human rights. You don't care because he's further oppressing 12 trans women. He's advocating for tax policy and reform that would reduce the after-tax income for 80% of Americans if the BBB passes. You don't care because he's further oppressing 12 trans women.
Don't put
You're
words
basically
in my
saying,
mouth.
take America, throw it out the window. Take the economy, throw it out the window. Take the average American, fuck them over. Take the immigrants, violate their human rights. Because at the end of the day, as long as he's violating, as long as he's oppressing 12 trans women, it makes sense, and that's my guy. You know what doesn't make sense to me is this American last fascist facade predicated on hate, rage, and bigotry that has somehow ingrained itself into 50% of American households and American culture through propaganda is dispersed in mainstream media that has absolutely just eroded your brain, sir.
I let you say all that, but you was like just lying on me. I didn't say nothing you said. I just said as a example of things that I agree with or disagree with. We could talk about those topics. You don't know if I agree or disagree with those things. Dean, you just sat there and had a whole soliloquy about something I didn't say. You know that's wrong, Dean. You're doing me like that. You're like, I'm an American citizen and I vote Democrat locally. So no, that's not the reason. Okay, I could think somebody if somebody robbed me and they look like a dude in a wig, I'm gonna tell the cops the dude in the wig robbed me. So I don't want to be told that I'm supposed to identify somebody as something I don't identify them as when I look at them. Social structure is based on visual identification too. If I see you, oh, you're a white guy. I can tell you're a white guy, right? Sometimes I can't tell if a dude wanna be a woman or he just weird. You know what I mean? If somebody look like a dude, they a dude to me. I mean, what you want me to say? If they robbed you, Dean, you would be the same. Hey, it was a man in a wig.
Okay.
That's what you're going to say, Dean.
Okay.
If a man in a wig robbed you, you're not going to say, I got robbed by a woman.
Okay. All right.
No, Dean, you're going to be very specific. All of a sudden,
You're done.
all your preaching going to go out the window. You're going to say exactly what it is. A man in a wig
You're done.
robbed
You're
you.
done. You're
That
done.
is going to be your description to the police. You ain't going to call him a woman.
You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done.
No, that's how I feel.
Okay.
You can't change how I feel.
I'm gonna respond now. Thank you so much. So first,
You're
and
welcome,
foremost,
Dean.
First and foremost, fuck you, because the first
Leave me
thing
alone.
the first thing that you said in your response there was that my drawn out explanation of why you and other members of the GOP suck because you would rather focus.
I'm not GOP. I'm independent.
MAGA. We'll use that term. So
I'm not MAGA. Man, fuck that shit. I just like Trump specifically. That's all I'm saying,
that's what
Dean.
it means to be MAGA.
Like that's what I'm saying. He says some
Can
things
I-
that some of us feel, Dean. That's why he won the. That's why he won the popular vote. He
Can
just
I-
resonate with some of the things we feel, whether you disagree with him.
Can I?
It's the reason why he won, man.
Can I finish talking real quick?
Okay, my fault, Dean.
Okay. So first and foremost, fuck you because you told me that after I got done with my explanation of why you suck because you choose further oppression of trans women over making life better for the average everyday American, and you accept and invite a redistribution of wealth from the poor to the rich, you invite fascism, you invite cronyism, corruption, and human rights violations, all to further oppress trans women. Your response to that was to say, well, that's not what I said I believe in. That's what other people believe in. So fuck you, Dean, for assuming that's something I think. But and in the next breath, okay, you don't even respond to the individual points that I made. You just literally affirm that's something you think when you started going on your transphobic rampage about how trans women are men. Okay, and actually, I want to point this out. This part of your transphobic rampage, I actually found really fucking funny. Okay, because you went on the rampage telling us that trans women are men, but then you said the reason you think trans women are men is because you can look at a trans woman and determine that they're masculine presenting, and you base gender or an assumption of gender based upon the presentation of gender. Okay, well, you know what this actually implies, sir? That you accept that trans women that are feminine presenting are women, and that trans women who are masculine presenting are men. So actually, in that breath, you are affirming the gender of some trans women and some trans men. So I don't know. Even your transphobic dialogue was contradictory. But now, like, please, okay, respond and address like the points that I made about how it is the case that you're like, what do I want more? No fascism in trans women and women's sports, or yes fascism in trans women and women's sports, or what do I want more? Tax cuts for the average day American and trans women and women's sports, or A reduction in the after tax of 80% of income earners in this country without trans women and women's sports. And we go down and down the line of all the bad things that Trump is doing right now that Kamala Harris wouldn't have done. And every single time you're like, well, yup, I need those 12 trans women out of there. Why? Why?
Well, well, he's not making a law on it, so I don't even know what you're talking about, right? He has no power to do something to them. It's a state
Fuck.
thing.
So then it's just virtue signaling about it.
No, but that's
Yeah,
what
you'll
Dean,
take transphobic virtue
let me
signaling
talk, Dean.
over
Let me
tax
talk.
cuts for the average
Let
American
me
and no
answer,
fascism.
Dean. Let me answer. I'm just fucking with you, Dean. No, that's what I'm trying to tell you is feeling, Dean. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about any policy. Right? He wouldn't won the popular vote if everybody cared about policy. We obviously don't. We don't. We don't care, Dean. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know, also, when you say if somebody's feminine past it, that's actually fair, right? If somebody looks like a woman, I'm gonna call them a woman. I can't see between their legs or know their surgery history, right? But you can't tell me if somebody like that one guy who gaslights on TikTok, he goes to the restaurant, and if somebody calls, they go to the restaurant, somebody calls him a sir, he gets mad and uses that content. That annoys me because he looks like a guy with like ponytails.
Listen, man. I don't like Lily Tino, but I'm not gonna let you just sit up here and like target Lily Tino and be incredibly transphobic towards them. Like this is.
Don't say I'm targeting him. I don't know him. I'm giving an example.
You're targeting her. Okay. So even though I don't like Lily, okay, like it's still not like.
Let me cook, Dean.
We shouldn't be saying here that like using.
I didn't even say the person's name.
Using proper pronouns is going to be like a reward for good behavior. Okay. Right? Or like that's something that you take away when they'd exhibit bad behavior. Okay, but I want to clarify. Like, there's actually a lot about Lily Tino that like I really don't fucking like. Okay, I'll clarify that. And a lot of people on the left agree, right? But
I don't disagree. I don't dislike him as a person.
So I could explain to you, right? Like the
Dean, can I finish my point, please?
No, actually, no, you can't. No, you can't. I'm not gonna allow you to do that. I want to respond to what you're saying.
What?
Okay, because don't worry. I've got
Dean,
the
I'm
gist
just
of
trying
it.
to get down.
The gist of your point is you don't care about anything that I have to say. You just want to fucking.
Okay, bye, Dean. I don't want to talk anymore because you don't want me to talk.
Can I ask you
Because
one?
I disagree with you.
Can I ask you one last question?
No, you can't ask me anything. You lost a good guest who was trying to be fair about how you're getting all emotional. You naming the person, I didn't even name him.
Okay.
You head targeted. I didn't know that person's name.
I'll let you talk.
Bye, Dean. I don't want to talk anymore.
I'll let you talk. Okay, quit being a baby. Quit being a baby. I'll let you talk. But then I'm gonna respond. Okay, he left. Holy fucking shit. So everybody, that last guest was exhibiting something I think I want to call the trans scare. Okay, and the trans scare, right, is terrible brain rot that results in so much bigotry and prejudice directed towards trans individuals in this country, and B, influences people to be like, oh, fascism, I better accept it. I better accept it. A destroyed economy? Gimme. Oh, like more global conflict? Yum. Human rights violations? Yes, sir. Right? All because of 12 trans women in the NCAA. It's crazy how successful the right has been in infiltrating the minds of Republicans and convincing them that no matter what, right, if there is absolutely any support for 0.5% of our constituents, trans Americans, and any politician ever, no matter what else they want to do or what the opposing party does, they are Satan 2.0. And if there's a single politician that says they don't like trans people, regardless of whatever else they run on or think or want to do for this country, they're the best thing since sliced bread. It's completely outrageous to me, right? And I think that's going to be evidently clear in that last conversation. You know, I was trying to bring up a lot of good points, and he was like, I'm actually not going to respond to any of those because I hate trans people and trans women are men. Like, that was essentially the reduction of everything that I just wasted my time on in that conversation with him. What is going on, Cayman? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I am 18.
What year were you born in?
2007.
Okay, what month?
March.
Cool. Before we hop into a debate real quick, Francis, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. I appreciate you for the love. As well as Cindy, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal, and Bailey with the $5. I appreciate you guys so much. If you're watching and you'd like to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms, and if you do support me, I'll be able to read off your name and any attached message. But take it away, Cayman. Why do you support Trump?
I just think Trump is an amazing person, and I'm really inspired by the things that he has done recently.
An amazing person? Do amazing people
Yeah.
typically rape women and boast about perving on naked teenagers? Do they typically like hit on and sexualize 10-year-olds? Do they typically talk about how they date their daughter if they weren't their daughter? Do they typically call all black people lazy or tell people not to vote for a black presidential candidate
Not
because
exactly.
he's black?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his power. He has a great mindset, and I love the things that he does. What he did to Iran was absolutely amazing. It was a great demonstration of power.
Oh my God, why? Why? Tell me why it was amazing.
Because he showed Iran that we're not afraid of them, that we will attack them if they keep threatening our allies.
Okay. So I just want to clarify here that you're basically saying, regardless of what the consequences are, if we bomb a country, that is a great show of strength that gives you pride in America. Because like the reasons why you said that you supported the strikes there, it wasn't because it yielded positive consequences. It wasn't because it disabled their nuclear capabilities. It wasn't because it reduces global tensions. Literally, the reason that you gave was that you supported bombing them because it was a show of power. Go out on mute. Please respond. Okay, he left. Tava, thank you for the $2 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for the love. Dude, the people today are crazy. Guys, the people today are crazy. Callum, what's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I support Trump.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 30.
You're 30. Okay, why do you support the man, the myth, the failure, Donald Trump, the worst president of your life?
I think he's great because he fucking hates niggers.
I'm sorry that you guys had to hear that. If you're honestly curious in what his ad is, it is UMBREONCOLLECTOR. It's Umbrellon Collector. Umbrellon Collector would be his at. I'm sure that he has content on his page of who he is, what he looks like. Feel free to find out who he is. Yeah, no, you say something like that on the internet, you don't deserve anonymity. Please go find him. Oh, but obviously, right? Don't like leak any private information. We're not advocating for doxing here, folks. We're not advocating for doxing here, folks. We're gonna go to move on to the next guest. We got She-Look loading up into the box. Here we go, everybody. Give us a minute to get that next guest up in that box, everybody.
Hello.
What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Before you do that, I got a quick question though, real quick. Just quick.
Yeah, if you don't mind just
Before-
telling me if you support Trump real quick, that'd be great.
Oh no.
Okay, well, I
But
appreciate
I
you for...
do-
I'm sorry for
No,
kicking
no,
you out,
no,
man.
wait,
We are
hold
just
on.
looking for some debates with Trump supporters. I'm sorry, bro. No, seriously, we're not advocating for doxing. All that I'm saying is if there's any public information on his profile page. All right, Warren's listening to music, so we're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute to get that next guest loaded into the live right now. We got Kaylee loading in. Let's see here. Quinn, thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo saying keep up the good work, man. Thanks for trying to educate yourself. I really appreciate you for that love, Quinn. Everybody, please go show some love to Quinn down below in that chat literally right now. That is QUINN. Thank you so much. They say keep up the good work, man. Thank you. What's going on, Kaylee? Oh, it looks like Kaylee's still loading in. Everybody, just, kind of give us a minute here to get that next guest loaded up into the box ASAP, y'all. If you are MAGA and you support Trump and you are from America and you're at least 18 and you'd like to come up here and debate me, let me know down below in that comment section. We'll get you loaded in for discussion. That's right, y'all. That's right. Moving on to the next guest right now. All right, we got Farrell loading into the box. That is phenomenal. We got Jaden loading into the box. We're going to try to get that next guest up here. Jaden, I sent you an invite. Love for you to join. What's going on, Farrell? Do you support Trump? Okay, they're not even here. Phenomenal. Moving on to the next guest right now, everybody. Please, if you actually want to come up and debate, let me know down below. We'll get you pulled up. Holy shit, today's been rough, y'all. I am not going to lie. I'm dying. I am truly experiencing death right now. Audrey, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Can we get 100 Audrey W's down below in the box? And I read your message there. That is an incredibly kind message. And yo, Sue! Oh my goodness! Sue with $100 on PayPal for being an incredibly intelligent human. Sue! I love you, Sue. That is so incredibly kind of you. Holy fuck. Can we get 1,000 Sue W's down below in that box right now for the $100 donation over on PayPal? Sue, thank you so much. I do not deserve that. That is so much money. Jesus, Sue. Show some love to Sue down below in that comment section. Literally right now, you guys. Thank you so much for your kindness. Bailey, what's going on? Do you support Trump?
No. Are people allowed to talk on here that don't support Trump?
Unfortunately not. We are just looking to discuss with American adults that do support Trump. Everybody, please follow the rules before hopping into the queue. Reagan, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo, saying I'm in love with you after seeing a video of you cooking Edna. Thank you, trans rights. Oh yeah, I enjoyed that one too, Reagan. Show some love to Reagan down below in that comment section. Thank you for the $20 donation over on Venmo. What's going on, SSAOTECAF? Do you support Trump? We're going to give them 5 seconds here while we're letting them have an opportunity to respond. We're going to get that next guest up. Okay, it doesn't look like they're here. All right, you guys, what is going on with the queue? Can you guys please follow the rules, everybody? That would be great. If you guys could please follow the rules. I don't know why there's so many rule breakers. I don't know, honestly, why it's so hard to find a single Trump supporter in a group of over like 19,000 people. That is absolutely ridiculous. So, I mean, hey, if you have a spine, if you have a backbone, if you're a Trump supporter and you're not afraid to debate me, let me know down below. We'll get you pulled up here. What's going on, Josh? You support Trump? Even this guy, look at him. Look at him. He's just sitting here quietly. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, like, what an L. Honestly, what a big L for Josh. All the Trump supporters are terrified today, guys. Like, I don't even know what to make of this at this point. I truly do not know what to make of this. This is absolutely outrageous, everybody. This is absolutely outrageous. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Let us know if you want to come up and debate down below in that box. It is taking us like 10 minutes to like cycle in a new Trump supporter to talk to. I literally can't believe this. They are quivering in their boots so hard. Imagine if you were standing in front of a group of over 18,000 people and you couldn't find one person in that group to stand up and have a conversation. Look at this. Like, seriously, guys, the Trump supporters are scared. Holy fuck, this is so bad for them. What a terrible day to be a Trump supporter. What a terrible day to be a Trump supporter. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. What is going on, Cole and K-Sauce? Do you guys support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, K-Sauce, is that you talking? Is there anybody there? Somebody just said, yes, I do. Are you there still? So they came up here to tell me that they support Trump and now they're gone? Dude. Holy crap. What is going on? What is this shit? I just can't believe it, bro. Like, it'll always bewilder me. Okay. All right, everybody. We got that next guest loading up in here. We got Mary loading in. Mary was spamming MAGA 18 down below in that box. Sabrina with the $10 over on PayPal saying, please look at Amir's super chat. Sure, I'll take a look right now. Thank you so much for putting that on my radar here. Teresa, Teresa, thank you for the $50 over on the YouTube super chat. Thank you so much for the love, Teresa. Show some love to Teresa down below in that comment section, literally right now. Let's get 500 Teresa W's. Teresa says, go Dean. And then Amir with the 14 Canadian dollars saying, Dean, what do you think of Islam? I'm from Iran and Palestine and love your content. Well, I mean, yeah, sure. So, I mean, I promote like the healthy practice of any and all religions, including that of Islam. However, right, obviously, I would say that, fundamentalism of like any like religion, rather that is Islam, Christianity, Judaism, etc. I do not support that, right? I think that there is a lot of issues like in all three Abrahamic religions, which would be Islam and Christianity, as well as Judaism, that I don't support. But I do support using these religions as like a symbol of hope, peace, and love, just like not a weapon or tool of hate and oppression. And I think that both of those circumstances can be true for all three Abrahamic religions. All three of them have individuals that exuberate their religion as a symbol of peace and love, and all three have a minority of individuals that exuberate it as a tool of hate and oppression. What is going on, Mary? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
How old are you?
18.
What year were you born in?
2006.
What month?
September.
Do you work a job? Do
No.
you have a driver's license?
Nope.
Do you go to school?
No.
What's a derivative?
Yeah, I don't know.
Any 18-year-old would know what a derivative is. So you're lying about your age, right?
Yeah.
That's a way to do it. Not every 18-year-old would know what a derivative is, by the way. I just totally made that up. Because if like she was truly an 18-year-old, then she would have been like really confused. She would have been like, what? I'm 18 and I don't know what a derivative is. I have like a bunch of friends that are my same age that also don't know what a derivative is. What the fuck do you mean every 18-year-old knows what a derivative is? But because she was under 18, right? She folded. What's going on? Do you support Trump, Kevin?
Cookie King mogs you.
All right, Kevin, I appreciate you for coming up. Everybody, it has been around 20 minutes since our last debate with the Trump supporter. Now, the reason why it has been so long is because the Trump supporters are fucking terrified. Now, I've said this as a joke, but I actually do mean it this time. What the hell is going on? Why is there 19,000 people in here and there's not one singular person that wants to come up here and have a debate? Absolutely unreal. Monica, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. And Jillian, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. I really appreciate you for that love. Thank you, Monica and Jillian. We're going to go to get that next guest up in here right now. We have no clue what's going on. Like, guys, I think I need to change my name, cut my hair, and put a little, like, fake mustache on my face because, like, people are just too scared to talk to me. Like, I don't know what to say here. But Brandon, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo for another therapy session. My brain hurts for you, my man. Also nice hair. Appreciate you for the love. And then Lauren, thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo for trying to convince the brainwashed zombies. Yo, let's go, Lauren. Then Conjure with a 10. Thank you. And Adeline with a 5. You guys are phenomenal. What's up, Brittany? You support Trump? Brittany, come on, bro. Are you just going to be another one of these motherfuckers that comes up here and gets gagged without even saying a word? Or are you just another one of the ducks in the row? She is. She was just another one of the ducks in the row. The people, the Trump supporters, requesting up and then getting gagged and not saying a single word the moment that they join, even though we could hear them and they're right there on the mic.
Yo.
What's going on? You support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
18.
Okay, what year are you born in?
2007, 1st March.
What time is it?
5:58.
What state are you in?
Florida.
Florida. Name 3 cities in Florida.
Well, I've lived here 8 months. I've only stayed here.
Okay. Well, where are you from in Florida?
Huh?
Where are you from in Florida? Where do you live?
Bro, you think you're right with everything. Say mums, I wouldn't fucking kill you.
Oh, why did I kick him? Did he just say that he'd unalive me? Should have asked him why. Unfortunate. I'm sorry. Like, if I thought that he just like sold, and that he just exposed himself as British, but he got like very angry and emotional there at the end. I wish I could have kept the emotional man on the line for a little bit longer to make him look like absolutely ridiculous. Unfortunate. What's going on? Do you support Trump, Victoria?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
18.
Dude, okay, why is everybody 18? What year are you born in?
2007.
Okay, 2007. What month?
June 1st.
Okay, is there any way that you could get a little bit closer to your mic?
Let me just disconnect my head.
Yeah, that'd be great. Victoria. Looks like we finally got a Trump supporter on the line. Hey, if you're watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio, as well as in the pinned message over on the YouTube stream if that's where you're watching. Let's go ahead and move on to the next guest. All right, Victoria, welcome in. So tell us, why do you support Trump?
Mainly because of my stance on abortion, and I don't think it's right to, kill.
Okay, you're still like far away from your mic, and we're hearing a lot of background noise here.
It's mainly because of my stance on abortion.
Oh, okay, so you're anti-abortion, truly. Okay, why are you pro-life, Victoria?
Because I don't think it's right to kill a human being, even if it's not fully developed.
Okay, so your stance is that killing a human being should always be illegal.
In the case of abortion, yeah.
Okay, why should it be illegal in the case of abortion?
Because they're not even giving the baby like a chance at, or the fetus a chance at life, and I feel like that's wrong.
Okay, why is it wrong?
Because you're taking the life of an innocent child.
Okay, so like killing an innocent human is wrong and that should be illegal?
I guess you could say that.
Okay, would you say that we should criminalize doctors pulling the plugs on brain dead patients since they're killing an innocent human that's alive?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay, but why? They're killing an innocent human.
Because they don't have any future potential. They're like gone.
Oh, okay, so you're saying that it's wrong to kill the fetus because of its future potential?
Yes.
Future potential for what?
Like they could do great things in the future, and then brain dead patients, they're just
Okay, so you're saying that you're taking away their potential from doing great things in the future.
basically yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's still like kind of a vague argument, but I mean, I'll go along with it here. So when does human life begin?
I'd say at the moment of conception.
So you'd say that there's a human life that exists at the moment of conception and after the moment of conception. Okay, you got a little bit of an echo. Fix the
Is this
echo,
better?
please. Okay, I'm just gonna mute you while I'm. Sorry, I can't do it. Sorry, guys, I can't do it with the mics that have that echo. I do apologize, everybody. I just simply can't do it. It creates like a feedback in my ear, right? And like if you know what it's like to like hear your own voice while you're trying to talk, it's really really hard to do. It's really really hard to do that. I'm gonna move on to the next guest. If you fix that echo, feel free to re-request. And if you think that I'm scared about debating abortion, you obviously have no clue who I am. What's going on, Zach? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that? Wait, how old are you?
18.
Okay. All right. So what year were you born in?
2007, May.
All right. Why do you support Trump?
Okay. My reason. Hold on. I gotta think. I had it for a second.
No worries. Think about your reason. While you're thinking about that, no.
Okay.
Anonymous, thank you for the $25 donation over on PayPal. Show some love to Anonymous down below in that comment section. I really appreciate you so much for the love, and I'll make sure that I read that message to myself. But yeah, no, I really do appreciate that so much. Let's get 250 Anonymous W's down below. So why do you support Trump?
Okay, so I want to ask you about trans women in women's sports.
Okay.
Do you like?
I want to know why you.
support-
I want to know why you support Trump. So are you saying that you support Trump because he wants to ban trans women in women's sports?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I think that's pretty like logical to do.
Okay, all right. So would you say that like you're like a victor of women's rights? Because like basically what you're saying is that, you know, there's like 12 trans women in the NCAA, and you think that they're violating the rights of the cis women in which they play in the sports with, and that's like maybe like what, like 100 or so cis women's rights that they'd be violating under your view, and like those rights violations on behalf of the cis women are literally so important to you that you're willing to say, well, let's make our economy weaker because of mass deportation, tariffs, and a regressive economic policy in which redistributes wealth from the poor to the rich, and let's also increase global tensions. But as long as we are banning trans women from competing in women's sports, it all makes sense and it's worth it to you. So would you consider yourself like aggressively pro women's rights?
I was just asking about sports, and you went to deportation, bro. I'm a little lost here.
Well, I'm basically saying like there's all these cons associated with the presidency, but I'm basically asking you if like this one pro of banning trans women in women's sports outweighs all of those cons.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even American, bro. I'm fucking Canadian. So you get me out of here.
Great. Goodbye, Zach. We are going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. We're going to move on to Kylan. Yeah, man, you should have seen how it's been going so far today. It's been rough.
How have they been?
We were able to find like one Trump supporter that was ready and willing to have a debate with us in like the last little bit, Victoria, but she just had like a fucking mic echo. It's like unreal. We're getting so unlucky. What's going on, Kylan? Do you support Trump?
I do support Trump.
2 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, Kylan, how old are you?
You've only got one debate?
Yeah.
I am
1 or 2 or
18.
4.
I'm 18.
You're 18. Everybody's 18 for some reason today.
Yeah, I was born 2007 in January.
Okay. All right. So why do you support Trump, Kylan?
I support Trump because the policies that he has in his presidency and the things he wants to do work for specifically where I live.
Sorry, let me yawn. So yeah, name a Trump policy that you're a fan of. Let's do it.
The entire idea around drill baby drill, where I live, drilling is actually like a big part of our economy. And like that is like we mass production. We're one of the top, we have the top oil industry in the United States. So like something like that,
Yeah,
the
Kamala
Democrat
Harris and Joe Biden, or the Democrats, were better for domestic drilling of oil. So, the most oil ever produced in any given month in America domestically under Trump's first term was in December of 2019 at 12.8 thousand barrels of oil per day on average. And the Biden-Harris administration beat that for over a year and a half straight, starting in July of 2023 at 13.2 thousand barrels of oil per day on average. So the Democrats are unironically better for the domestic production of crude oil compared to the Republicans, and this was mostly for the reason that they approved more permits for drilling on federal land than Trump ever did. According to Politico Pro, they approved approximately 50% more of those drilling permits.
I honestly have so much respect for how much knowledge you have. Can I get your opinion on the? You were talking about abortion earlier, and like, can I get your just your full honest opinion on that? Like, what you think about all of that, honestly.
Well, of course. I think like the easiest way for me to set the position forth is just simply by saying that I just don't really see any good reason to ban abortion. I can't identify a trait of a fetus that I should find morally valuable. Okay, maybe before about 20 weeks or so. And like for that reason, when we like do criminalize that access, ultimately it is an infringement upon the woman's right to bodily autonomy without any good reason, because we can't identify anything about the fetus in which we should find morally valuable, meaning that that's a human rights violation. And when we have these human rights violations of 66 million American women and girls in America today, that's the amount of American women and girls that don't have access to elective abortions because their states have banned it because of Roe v. Wade was overturned. When we have the human rights violations of these 60 pregnant rape victims that are denied access to abortion in 10 of our 50 states every single day, when we have the human rights violations of women such as Adriana Smith, turning her into a literal human incubator and then dissecting a live human out of her carcass just because of Georgia's restrictive heartbeat ban, I think that this amounts to one of the largest issues in America today. It's not just that I think that banning women and girls' access to abortion is immoral and wrong. I think that the bans on women and girls' access to abortions in America today is probably the largest issue in America today.
Yeah, and I respect how you worded that, because a lot of days now we see like the people who will just straight up say they think it's okay to do it, and I like how you worded that. But
Those two things mean the same thing. So when I say that I can't identify any reason why we should ban it, I am definitely saying it's okay to do it.
So would you say that in some cases though, I mean, it really doesn't make sense? Like, I mean, if we're not banning abortion, these people are having the ability to abort a child. You know, you said 20 weeks is when you think this fetus would be, considered a human being. If they're choosing to abort after this for any reason or purpose, like, would you still stand with that being okay, even though it is considered?
So you're asking me if I think that elective lethal abortions are morally wrong after that point. I do think that elective lethal abortions after that point are morally wrong, but that shouldn't matter because Roe v. Wade, the policy that I advocate for, gave the ability to the states to legislate on that, similar to Donald Trump's policy giving the ability to the states to legislate on access to abortion at any point. Are you 16?
I am not 16. I am 18.
Okay, why are people saying that you're 16?
I have actually no clue.
Do you work a job?
Yes, I do.
What's a W-2?
What is the W-2? When I went into my job, I got it through a family friend, so they filled out all my paperwork for me, and I've been at that job for 2 years.
I think it's possible. I don't know.
I am 18 now.
Okay.
Did you ask what her birth year was?
Did you vote for Trump?
I didn't vote because I didn't fill out the paperwork in time, and I wasn't able to. But I would have if I did get the paperwork signed out.
Boom. Lying. We gotcha. Get. She's leaving on her own. She would have turned 18 in January of this year. Okay, we'll bring Victoria back up. Maybe Victoria is fixed her mic. Hello, Victoria.
Hello.
Have you fixed
Is
your
the
mic?
echo? Is the echo so bad?
No, it's actually not.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's great.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
You want to continue our conversation now?
Yeah. What's your stance on abortion?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as I just told to the last guest, I can't identify anything about a fetus that I should find morally valuable. Thereby, I don't think that we have any reason to restrict upon a woman's access to abortion. Yeah.
You know what? I don't even want to waste your time, Dean. I love you. Thank you so much. I love what you do. I know you're gonna kick me, but thank you so much.
Guys, it has been closer to an hour now since we've had a debate with an actual Trump supporter. Like I want to make this clear. You know, like I love what I do. I love what I do. I really do. But it's like, y'all, like every day I waste an hour or two cycling through this madness. And like I understand that like from y'all's perspectives, you're just kind of like one person, but you have to think about how many of those people, like what it amounts to over the course of like a given stream. So it's like every single day, like I probably lose like an hour to 2 hours of my stream on kind of like cycling through people that are breaking the rules on a weekly basis, you know, because I stream 7 days a week. That amounts to 7 to 14 hours. Every 100 days, it's 70 to 140 hours. Every 300 days, you know, you just do the math there. It's a lot of time that is kind of taken out of like my ability to effectively do what I want. But I do appreciate you so much for the love, Adriana. Sorry, Victoria, not Adriana. I will just simply ask everybody watching to please follow the rules. If you are going to be in the guest request, you have to be at least 18 years old. You have to support Trump, and you have to be ready and willing to come up here and have a conversation with us about why you support Donald J. Trump. And at this point, I'm going to start enforcing those rules pretty hard. If you come up here and you violate the rules, I am going to ban you from the stream. So, yeah, what's going on, Sunrise? Do you support Trump?
All right, welcome. Yes.
Great. How old are you?
I'm 19.
What year are you born in?
2006, early year. Like, I won't say exactly. 'cause
What
that
month?
Kind of,
What month?
January. What?
I don't know if I trust him.
Well, you have to trust me.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Sabrina,
get you.
Sabrina, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Charlotte with a 5, Catherine with a 10, and Molly with a 5. I appreciate you guys so much for the love. Hi, do you support Trump?
Yes.
Chicago, Michael, do you guys support Trump?
Yes.
Who is that?
Michael.
Michael.
Yes. Could you have an echo? You have the stream on another device. Could you turn that off? Michael, how old are you?
19.
Okay, is there an adult watching that wants to debate me? Is there an adult, everybody?
Oh my fucking! Oh my bad.
What's up,
Oh,
Logan?
sorry.
You support Trump?
Yes I do.
Could you disconnect any Bluetooth devices that you have connected?
All right, hold on. I'm wearing earbuds.
Yeah, if you disconnect those, your audio quality will be a lot better. Let's see here. Jillian.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah, it's much better, man. Jillian, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. I really appreciate you for the love. Joshua with a 5. And Donna, thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. Donna says, doing what most cannot and trying to teach MAGA how to be human. Donna, I really appreciate you so much for the love. Let's get 250 Donna W's down below in that box. Man, I'm fucking tired. Logan, how old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
What year were you born in?
2006, December. Do the math. 2006, December 19th.
Okay. Great.
He said do the math.
Do you work a job?
Yes, I do.
What's a W-2?
What's a W-2? I have no clue. I just got employed.
So you would have, if you just got employed, then you just would have filled out your W-2.
I ain't working yet, but I'm about to.
Okay. Do you have a driver's license?
I got a tip card.
Do you have a driver's license?
No, a temporary driver license.
Oh, like
card.
a
That means
permit?
I'm in training.
Great. What does a dotted yellow line next to a solid yellow line on the road mean?
What was that?
What does a dotted yellow line next to a solid yellow line on the road mean?
I think it's like intersect or something. I don't know, dude.
Guys, I don't know what to do.
I just think you're on the For You page of every person who's around the ages of, like 15 through 20 years old, like in America right now. And I'm sorry, bro.
I don't know what to do.
You.
It's been an hour and a half. Parker, it's been an hour and a half. This is like the craziest, like I'm wasting my day. Like I'm really close to, if we don't get a debate in the next 10 minutes, everybody, I'm going to end my stream. Short today.
Yes, hello.
So if we don't get a debate in the next 10 minutes, I'm just going to end early. Really early.
Yes, I would like to debate.
Karen?
Yes, can you hear me?
Karen, how old are you?
Yes, honey, I'm 80 years old, born 1944. I'm turning 81 in August 26th here. So,
See, after like all the last conversations that I've had, I'm really like predispositioned to think that this is a troll.
No, I'm not, but I would like to say that I do support Donald Trump and what he's doing.
Tell us something that only an 80-year-old woman would know.
Well, let's see. Do you know, have you seen, what is the show called here? It's a show, I Love Lucy. Have you seen that?
I have seen I Love Lucy, yeah. And that is something that an 80-year-old woman would know. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to say this, I didn't always support
Karen,
Donald
your
Trump.
bio says I strongly dislike one particular very orange, one particular very actually orange human.
I did previously until I seen what he done with what he just did with Iran. So I think that my mind is changing, and I'll tell you what, you have to listen to what is true and what is right. What he did is what every other president has done. And they have done that. Obama, for instance, he struck over 125 times.
Right, because we were in war in the Middle East, right? And then that's what Biden pulled us out of, and that's what we didn't want to go back into because it was endless and a massive, massive waste. And then something that he did that not every other president has done was pulling us out of the denuclearization agreement we had with Iran, preventing them from their further construction of nuclear weapons, which was a very bad decision.
Well, I can just say this, that we have to protect ourselves as the American people, and that's what he's doing.
How is it protecting America to just like without any prerogative, just like bomb their nuclear facilities? Now we're learning this morning that we only set them back maybe a month or two when they had threatened us with like sleeper cells in America. They control the Strait of Hormuz so they could increase the price of our gas, as well as it's just more unnecessary involvement in the Middle East, increasing global tension. In no way does it serve America's interest. The only interest that serves is Israel's interest. So when you say we're doing it to protect America, no, it's actually making the lives of Americans worse. We're doing it to protect Israel.
And what other presidents that you know of have caused a WW3 by doing this? What other, because there's been other presidents that have done this.
Okay, well, once again, I already responded to that. And then second of all, right, I never said that he was going to start World War III. Okay, I just said it's an unnecessary increase in global tensions. It's involving ourselves in a conflict that we fundamentally have nothing to do with. There's no massive success that he took away from it, and only unnecessarily risked the lives of Americans, both here at home in America as well as those overseas. I just don't see any upsides or pluses or positives that we took out of it.
So another thing that I would like to mention is how he's one of the most real presidents I've seen in my 80 years. He tells us like it is.
Actually, I have a test. I have a test. So name who was president before Obama?
Bush.
Who was president before Bush?
Before Bush, Clinton.
Who's president before Clinton?
Reagan.
Who's president before?
Sorry, that's.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What?
So
it was definitely not Reagan.
Yes. No. Sorry. I'm elderly. That's why.
Who's before?
But I'll
Clinton?
tell you this. Oh, the other Bush, the younger, his son. Or excuse me, not his son. The father of Bush.
Chad, do we believe that this is like a real 80-year-old woman?
Bush the first, but I'll tell you this.
I think so, actually.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And have you heard? I'll tell you this. Ask me to sing any song in the past. I'll tell you. Hotel California. I can sing any song you want me to sing.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who's Nat King Cole?
Who's what?
Nat King Cole.
Not King. Who is that?
Nat King Cole.
I don't know who Nat King Cole is.
Nat.
Is that
Nathaniel King Cole?
Is that you're saying not King? Is that
No, not
a
Nathaniel.
reality
Nat.
star, honey? Because I don't know who that is. You have to understand and give me some grace here.
Okay, but so Nat King Cole, he was a great singer, composer.
Do you know
pianist,
who? Do you
actor,
know who?
dance.
Yeah. So I was born 1944, and I've listened to various things, honey. Do you know who? Do you know who? Excuse me, one moment. There's a song in it. I can sing it for you.
Wait, tell it. You okay? Sing us the song. Do it. Yeah.
So there's plenty. So up ahead in the distance, with the shimmering lights. Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely face. Living it up in the Hotel California. And there's plenty of others, you know, Elton John, I can name other things for you. And what's so funny? I've been practicing. What's so funny about that?
Just what's happening on the live, you know, this doesn't happen very often, you know.
I'm
You
losing
know,
my
like we just
shit.
like we sing songs on the live.
Oh my
you know?
God,
We typically just like debate people.
Oh, wait, sing us another song. You're great. What's something else you've been practicing?
Oh yes. So there's plenty of songs. One song that I like. It's actually a new age song. My daughter showed me this years ago. What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in and kicking me out. You got my head spinning. Don't know what hit me, but I'm doing fine. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. And you know, I don't know how far you want me to go.
All right. What's one of your other favorite songs to sing that like has some like pretty simple like chords to it? I'm gonna play the guitar and I'm gonna have you sing. What's another one?
Yes. So another one that I like to sing is, you know, oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. She's a man eater.
Okay.
Do you know that song?
I do know. Man Eater by who's that? Britney Spears?
Otis. No, Otis.
Oh fuck. Sorry. Jesus Christ.
No, it's an older song, honey. So it's not by any new age people. Britney Spears. I've never listened to her. My daughter listened to her.
Yeah, you're Gen X. I think
Yes,
that.
I am.
Oh shit! Turn on your camera. That's a way we could confirm.
One moment, honey. Just a second.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't do that to begin with.
Turn on the camera, Karen.
This was fun. This was fun.
Yeah, I sent you an invite to turn on your camera. Could you turn it on?
Yes. Could you send it again?
Yeah.
Just
No.
a moment. I'm turning it on as we speak.
So click on your profile picture. Then you'll see an icon of a camera pop up. Click the icon of the camera. Then click save.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm clicking on it. Honey, I try to click on it. Well, you have to send the request again. It's not letting me click my face.
No, you just click on your face, and you'll see a pop-up box, or even like settings at the bottom, right?
There we go. I see it now. It let me hit
Make
it.
sure to click save.
So I clicked the camera.
And then click save.
Honey, send the request again.
Okay.
It's not letting
Okay, I'm gonna send the request in 3, 2.
Wait just 1 second. Hold on just a second. Okay, go ahead. Send that again, please.
3, 2, 1. I sent the request. Now click confirm. Click turn on camera. Click save. Okay, Karen?
Yes, I'm clicking it. I'm clicking save here. Just a moment. Oh dear. 1 second here. Let me click the other way around.
Okay, so you got your camera on, but it just looks like it's showing.
Just a second. 1 moment. Let me figure this out.
No, just pick your phone up like that.
Yes,
And then do that.
my device is on,
No, just pick the phone up off the ground and then do that.
My phone isn't on the ground. I have it in my hand.
Well, then why don't we see anything? Why is it just black?
1 second. I did because I have a phone case on, so I think it's on the opposite direction. Anyhow, so going back to this broadcast.
What has the live stream turned into, Dean? What
So
has it
going
turned
back
into?
to this broadcast.
Okay, Karen. I'm gonna kick you because I know that you're a troll, but you are doing great.
No, I am not, honey. I'm not that.
You are.
I'm not that. Someone asked me to turn on my camera before I showed them my face, and you want to know what they said to me?
What did they say?
They said they started making fun of me. They said that I'm elderly. They made fun of my hand.
We promise we won't make fun of you.
I know how this works, and I know that someone's going to, after I turn on my camera device, what they're going to do is they're going to have pictures of me all over the place because that's what they did. They're using my profile photo as their photographs and all of that.
Okay, all right.
Now you're gonna incentivize people to actually do it if that were to happen. You should
Oh
have
dear,
said that.
please, no one do that.
Okay.
Please don't.
Oh
do
shit.
That. I don't.
Oh fuck. What year did you graduate high school? Less than 10 seconds. Go.
Honey, that was a while ago, but I got married in 1969. If that's what you're asking.
Oh, you got married in 1969. How old were you when you got married?
I was 25.
25, and then you said you were born in 44.
1944, yes.
Ooh.
And I was married to Harold Hampton for 50 years up until 60 years ago. God rest his soul.
Wait, you were married for him for 50 years until 60 years ago.
No, until 6 years ago, honey. 6 years, not 60. 6.
Now let's see if that checks out. So you said that you got married in 69. You're married for 50 years. Okay, so that would have been until when? 2009, 2019?
2019. It was right before the pandemic that he passed.
I don't know. Would it be 2000? I don't know. Maybe my brain is just shot.
No, 2019, January of 2019.
Then he passed.
Yes.
Okay, chat. Why do I kind of believe that this is real?
Yes, because I am Karen Hampton.
Okay, all right, fine. Go ahead and tell us why you support Trump.
If they're trolling, they're the greatest troll that's ever got on the live ever. I'm serious.
I support him like I didn't always support him. In fact, I actually despised him until what he just did. And I like what he said this morning when he said, Israel, it doesn't know what Israel doesn't know what he's doing. Iran doesn't know what he's doing, and he said he's pulling away.
Okay, so you support him for involving our America in a conflict that we didn't need to be involved with, and then pulling us out of the conflict that we didn't need to be involved in. You know, maybe if Kamala Harris was president, she never would have got us involved in the first place.
Oh, actually, I was thinking about it, and I actually think we would have ended up in this position either way because you have the ongoing conflict. I think that both Biden and Kamala would have done the same thing.
Okay, why?
I think that other presidents, just the history
I don't. I actually don't, because I think that they would have been able to think 2 fucking steps ahead. Okay, so although Kamala Harris was pro-Israel as well, and that's something I disagree with, I think that she would have been able to think 2 steps ahead. She would have been able to recognize the power that they'd hold over the Strait of Hormuz, the power that they'd hold over the threat of sleeper cells in America, the power that they'd hold over the retaliation in which we'd experience via these different regards, and she would have said that, well, it's just simply not worth it for us to unnecessarily involve ourselves in the conflict, in the war, via the repercussions that we could face here in America. Rather, it's missiles being fired at our bases or global mass inflation by shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. I'm not led to believe that she would have got us involved in the conflict at all. But if your claim is that, yes, she would have, they would have done the same thing, then this shouldn't be a reason now to indicate that he was any better than her, since they would have done the same thing. So what is one specific reason why you support him over her?
So I think that what he's doing now is important. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have necessarily kept I originally voted for Kamala Harris, but
So that was a troll. Their profile picture was AI. We're gonna go to move on to the next guest. Okay, all right, everybody, give us a minute to get that next Trump supporter up in the box.
I'm sorry, bro. This is really difficult to get guessed, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, listen, that was a funny troll. That was a funny troll. So I don't care that much. But like at the same time, guys, like it has now been 2 hours since I've had a debate with somebody. So yeah, we've been live for 3 hours. For the last 2 hours, we've gone without debates with people that are following the rules. What's up, Dan? Do you support Trump? Okay, Dan's not here either. Goodbye, Dan. We are going to go to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. I'm actually like really close to ending early. I'm like super.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
so
ridiculously
sorry, bro.
close. I'm ridiculously close. What's
Hello?
going on, D-Lo? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, real quick before
But
we hop into our debate, brother, I do got to thank a handful of people. So real quick, let me thank super duper quickly James. Thank you so much for the $20 over on the YouTube super chat. Let's get at least 200 James W's down below in that box. I really appreciate you so much for that love. Show some love to James, as well as Emily with the $10 over on Venmo, saying I'm so sick of all the debates with brainwash 18 and 19-year-olds. They all share the same opinions of their underdeveloped minds. Don't know where you've got the patience. It's taken a while to develop, but I appreciate that. As well as Tiffany. Oh my God, I didn't even see this until now. Tiffany with the $100 donation over on Venmo. Show some love to Tiffany down below in that chat. Jesus Christ. Tiffany says, here's $100 to help cover mental health costs. Your patience is outstanding. Appreciate you. I appreciate you as well, Tiffany. That's literally so kind of you. Show some love to Tiffany down below for the $100 donation. As well as Rachel with a 10 saying no more teenagers, please. Deadass. Chloe with a 10 saying I'm so sorry people can't follow the rules. Joining. Keep with the good work. You're so inspiring. I really appreciate you. And then Justin with a $3 over on Venmo. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are so incredibly kind, and if you are one of the 21.7 thousand people on that TikTok live stream, guys, make sure that you're double tapping away in that phone screen for us, sharing out that live and spamming that chat. A couple more people here just before we hop into the debate. Canna, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Deborah with a $14 saying that my head hurts for you. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Deborah. But make sure that your head doesn't hurt. Finn with a $5 and City with a 5 as well. You guys are awesome. Now take it away, D-Lo. Why do you support the man, the myth, the failure, Donald J. Trump?
truthfully, man, well, I supported in the beginning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just interested in why you like still support Donald Trump today.
I supported him towards the beginning, and then when I obviously all the stuff that's going on with the deporting and stuff, that's the only thing that is making me change my mind about a lot of things.
Okay, so do you support him today?
No.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I get you, Dean. Don't worry. Dean's gonna crash out, chat. You're gonna turn Dean into the Joker, dude. Dude, I just saw the way Dean looked at the camera, bro. Jeez.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to need you to listen up really, really, really closely. There is 3 rules for joining in the guest request. Everybody listen closely. The first rule is you have to be at least 18 or older. Did everybody hear that? Phenomenal. The second rule is you have to be from America. Boom. You gotta be an American. You gotta be able to vote. The third rule is you have to support Trump. Now, see, here's the great part. If you follow all 3 of those rules, we'll have no issues. And I won't just be driven insane, right? That won't happen to me. I won't be driven insane. And I want to make sure that everybody who's in the guest request is following those rules. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest, Nora. I'm about to lose my shit. Tabitha, thank you for the $5. Oh my God, I can't even speak. Tabitha, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo, saying from Payne and Tabitha, keep up the good work. I appreciate that. As well as Eric with the $10, that is ERIC, saying really enjoying your lives. Thank you, Eric. And then Reach Church, thank you for the $5 as well. And then Cora with the $5. You guys are going crazy. I appreciate everyone so much for the love. What is going on, Nora? Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir, I do.
How old are you?
I am 19.
What year were you born in?
I was born in. I was born.
Bro, literally, fuck you.
2005.
I just Okay, I'm sorry for saying fuck you to your fetus. That was bad. Okay, that's bad. I take it back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay, feel free to have your parents DM me. I'll draft a written apology. That was incredibly bad. We're
You said you was gonna keep me on.
Guess. What's that?
You said you wish you would have kept me on.
Oh yeah, you're the
And
one
you
that
kicked me.
you're the one that said that you wanted to unalive me, right?
Yeah, you're a nerd, bro.
Okay.
You're laughing. You're
So-
a nerd. You think you know every single thing.
Why do you want me to like literally?
You're cocky as fuck.
Why do you want me to literally die?
Yeah,
You're just a nerd.
What's up
like,
with
no
that?
one likes that shit. You're a gimp.
Wait.
You're actually a
What's
gimp.
hey? What's wrong with being a nerd, man?
Wait. So
Well, I meant
If you came to UK, no.
If
Shut
somebody-
up.
if somebody-
being a
If you
nerd?
came to UK and
If-
started doing all these debates, you'd get killed.
So if somebody's a nerd, therefore they deserve to die. Dude, Bradley, stop thinking like a fucking caveman, okay? This ooga booga shit just
Why you?
isn't it.
Yeah, you're a nerd.
God.
Why are you muting me?
Dude, a third grader would be considered a nerd compared to you.
Wait, can you tell us what a nerd is?
People that sit there all the time researching shit like both of you saddos. What are you doing with your life?
Wow, dude, stop researching shit, everyone. Seriously,
Go
stop
fucking sell shit.
researching. It's horrible.
That's terrible.
If you do research, that's bad for you.
If you did all this shit in England, you'd get killed.
Yes, if you people can't research in England.
Nah, if you did all this debating shit and everything, you'd get killed.
People don't debate in England. That never happens.
Oh my god!
Seriously, never
Because it's two
happens.
Americans. You're both American. You're both nerds.
Oh my god! Bro, what is this cringe shit you're posting? Oh my god, I've never seen a more cringy fucking TikTok account in my existence. Look at my jaw, everybody! I'm not even gonna show you my own face. I'm gonna unalive you. Wait, we
That's
also gotta read this
ages
out.
ago. That's ages ago. You're funny as fuck.
Maturing is realizing. We're gonna read the. Maturing is realizing sometimes you
You think I
JS
care?
need to distance yourself from people. Hashtag sad. Hashtag real. Oh my lordy lord! This is the motherfucker right here saying that you're gonna unalive
That's what
me.
it's like going through depression.
Oh, holy fuck! You're
What?
you're gonna unalive me?
And what?
This
Just because
thing,
I'm like what?
this thing is gonna unalive me,
Yeah,
bro, dude. I
I
mean,
would. I swear down.
yo, at least go to the barber and get a better haircut for that goddamn mugshot, bro. I'm not gonna
That
lie.
was ages ago.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm
That
not gonna
was
lie.
ages ago.
You get your mugshot after getting arrested with that haircut, dude. It is over. It is over for you. It is fucking over
Well,
for you.
well, that's good that you're not seeing my mugshot then, innit?
Hashtag
You know what-
hashtag
you know what,
hashtag
Brad?
sad, bro. I don't even know what to tell you. That haircut is
Brad,
hashtag sad.
This is tough, man.
Nah. I've grew up with no parents my whole life, pretty much.
Oh my Jesus
sorry to hear
Christ!
that.
I'm sorry to hear that too, Bradley. I'm really sorry to hear that you grew up without children, but sorry, without parents. But like, stop
Children?
calling for the death of random people on the internet. Get the hell out of here. What's going on, Jaden? Do you support Trump?
What's going on, Dean and Parker? Yes, I do support Trump.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Phenomenal. All right, man. Take it away. Tell
Why
us
do you
why you
support
support
Trump?
Yeah, why do you support Trump?
So, kind of piggybacking off of one of your last conversations you had with one of the other guests, you truly don't believe Kamala would have taken action in Iran.
Yeah, I think it was significantly less likely to occur. Significantly less likely to occur.
Because, I mean, I've heard past presidents, Clinton, Obama, they've all kind of said that Iran can't have a nuke.
No, and I'd even agree with that statement. Okay, right, 110%. But I just think that like the operation was a disaster. You know what I mean? What U.S. intelligence this morning is telling us that we only set them back a handful of months. Not to mention the fact that the ceasefire that he negotiated has now been broken by both parties, seemingly like
Right. You saw that video
after it
this morning.
occurred. It's all a mess, right? And I think that Kamala Harris would have been able to think more than one step ahead. I think the reason why it ended up just being such a disaster is because Trump can't think one step ahead. He just kind of like big fists it. He says, "Boom, rah, America, drop bomb." Drop it now. Call for regime change. Yeah.
He said
Yeah,
peace.
you know.
But is it wouldn't
Yeah,
the right
and
thing
like
to
that's
be
why it didn't work.
proactive and not reactive?
That's why it didn't
When
work.
they're this close.
But listen,
Wait,
I
but it
don't.
wasn't proactive.
Yeah, and also I think there's
egotistical.
about a billion other ways to give a better proactive response to the idea of nukes. Honestly, man, I just don't think that Donald Trump is that intelligent of a policymaker. That's why it was such a disaster. I mean, like, feel free to prove me wrong by playing us a clip of Donald Trump speaking intelligently about any policy at all in the last 10 years.
Ever.
No. That's fair. And then I guess another talking point that you have.
Wait. Are you going to provide any circumstance, or are you agreeing that there's none?
No, I'm just referring to another point that the earlier guest had.
Okay, well, I want to know why you support Trump.
I support Trump because I come from a Christian family. I know you guys don't believe in that, but that's where my values come from. I think it's
If
good.
your
that
values come, if
Christianity
your values
is-
come from the Christian Bible, the last person you'd ever support is Trump.
Why is that?
Because name one Christian teaching that he aligns with through his policy.
I feel like he's been bringing Christianity back to the White House and back to this nation.
How so? In what way?
And I know Parker likes to
Hey,
use
what
the
way?
point.
What way? Is
No,
bringing
I know,
Christianity
I
back
know.
to America by like taking money from poor people and giving it to rich people, even though Psalms 32 explicitly says you'll be given glory in the kingdom of God, given that you provide for those that are more needy than yourself? Is that the way that he's bringing Christianity back?
How is he taking money from the poor and giving it to the rich?
Yeah, for sure. The BBB would tell us that the CBPP would tell us that the big beautiful bill will reduce the after-tax income of 80% of Americans, disproportionately hurting you the less money you make. Meanwhile, the top 1% will be benefiting by around $25,000 per year. So there's one way. Another way is by defunding social programs such as the VA, such as Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, and food stamps. Another way would be the imposition of tariffs on countries such as China. See that 55% tariff that we have imposed on them will ultimately be paid for by the American consumer at the end of the day, because who else will it be taken up by? Nobody else has the profit margins to consume that loss. Rather, it's the producer or the retailer. So it's going to be paid for by the consumer once the product is in the market. And it's also worth pointing out that the less money you make, the more you proportionally spend on the goods that you need to survive, meaning that it is a regressive tax that will disproportionately hurt you the less money you make. So there is 3 ways that poor people will be disproportionately targeted by the Trump administration. We call it a triple whammy. The way that I like to think about it is imagine that there's a person standing in the circle of a group of very angry men pointing guns at them. And I like to envision that person as either the average American or low-income Americans, and I like to imagine that group of angry men pointing guns at them as all of Donald Trump's policies, specifically the policy that I just pointed out. They're getting targeted by so many directions. It's fucking insane.
I guess the things that I've seen, such as like no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, those sort of things would be helping less fortunate or poorer people.
So you're pointing out like particular parts of the BBB
or
in
tariffs,
which would, like, seemingly yield a positive
that
outcome.
may be bad in the short run, but that will bring money back to the states.
How?
In the long term.
How?
Bringing manufacturing, bringing factories,
How so?
etc. back to the states.
How so?
Isn't that the whole point of a tariff? Yes, in the short term, the consumer is going to take on that cost.
Okay, so the consumer takes on the cost, so it's going to be a regressive negative impact on the low and middle class. And again, it doesn't really in the long term bring back manufacturing jobs, because many of the aspects of the production process that come from other countries around the world for domestic manufacturing in the United States are going to increase the cost of production for domestic manufacturing in the United States, therefore making it less profitable to then also produce in the United States because of, again, different aspects of the production process, materials, labor coming from other countries.
But
you have to take into account the other impacts of what
to
tariffs will be.
encourage manufacturing in the states.
No, but we don't want to do everything here in the United States. We don't have to do everything here in the United States.
Can I just ask
and
the
it'd be
question,
bad for us to.
When are we going to see that encouragement start? Because, like, you understand so far the economy's only suffered. Like, a reduction in our GDP in the first financial quarter, a stagnation in investment in American industries. Like, when are we going to see, like, the positive outcomes of these tariffs, like, at least begin to trend?
Right. Well, I don't know what the timelines are for how quickly these things are built. I would assume that's not a immediate action taking place.
Oh, like the facility. So what companies are already moving their production into America because of that 55% tariff on China?
Automotive industries, probably.
Like who?
I would
Like who
say
specifically?
soon, if not already.
Like who specifically?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh shit!
Um,
See, well, that's just a bunch of rhetoric then. Nonsense. Bunch of nonsense, quite frankly. L'Oreal, thank you so much for the meteor shower. And it's like, even when we increased our tariffs on China in 2017, like we didn't see any manufacturers move back to America. In fact, we only saw American manufacturers hurt by counter tariffs imposed on us by China. So like these tariffs just seemingly like don't yield much of a positive outcome, man. I don't know what to tell you. Right? And if you, once again, like, are you telling us that you care about like strengthening American manufacturers?
Yeah. I mean that's where.
Okay,
this
so then
point
you obviously
coming from.
fucking hate Trump because his mass deportation policy is probably one of the worst things that we could do to American manufacturers today. Undocumented immigrants are more likely to participate in the labor force and particularly work in manufacturing/production jobs.
Now,
And there's
I would like to
8.3
say
undocumented workers in the workforce today. You deport them all, according to the Center on American Progress, we lose 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion dollars off of our GDP per year, and 12 million consumers that are buying the goods from these American companies to keep them in business. So we are absolutely
actually agree
crippling
with
our
you,
manufacturers
on that
by
point.
deporting undocumented immigrants.
The immigration point, I actually have a different view from Trump. I stand more on the side with you guys that if you don't have a criminal history, if you've been here, then you should be allowed to stay or at least given a path to citizenship, correct?
Okay, you're phenomenal. So if you agree with that, let me ask you this question. Do you think that the 55% tariffs on China in the long term, under your view, will result in more than 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion dollars added to our GDP per year via the productivity that they would generate?
No, probably not.
Significantly
not the full
less than
amount.
that. So all that this
Yes.
means is that the cons of mass deportation are worse than the pros of the tariffs on China under your view, right? So this means that overall, you should still not support Donald Trump because overall, his policy is still weakening American industries more than it's strengthening American industries.
I guess I can kind of see where you're coming from with that point, but it's also kind of redundant with not seeing the progress that Trump would be able to make. We're not giving that timeline, that time frame.
You're the one that just told us that it is not the case that the 55% tariffs on China will be able to generate an additional 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion dollars of contributions in the long term per year, meaning that you don't think that the long-term goals will be able to outweigh the cons onset by mass deportation. Okay,
Not
and
in total, but I
even
think
if
the
they break
tariffs will
even,
bring back money
even
back
if
to the
they
States.
even
There
if
will
they
be improvement made.
even if they break even there and it adds back just as much as the mass deportation would lose, well then you're breaking even. You're not even making the economy better, and Americans are still going to be paying more for the goods. So basically, the takeaway is inflation.
Stagnant inflation. Yeah, correct.
Okay, so like the long-term gain, even if they exceed all projections and add close to $2 trillion to the GDP per year, it's still going to cancel out with this mass deportation and result in the only progress to America being some stagnant inflation.
Right. Yeah, I guess you got me on that point. The numbers don't work out in the end in total.
Right, so that, like, it's a really good reason right there to stop supporting Trump.
One other thing that I would like to touch with you guys on being the abortion issue.
Okay, real quick before we move on.
Another.
Real quick before we move on to abortion, I'd just like to thank Marilyn for the $5 over on Venmo. Shout out to you, as well as Lily with the $5 on Venmo. Shout out to you as well. And then Carissa, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, saying you need to take tomorrow off for Mental Health Day. Don't worry, I'm going to be doing a Mental Health Day here soon. It's going to either be the 28th or the 29th, everybody. I'm going to be taking a day off, spending it up in Aspen, in like a ridiculously nice hotel that I'm not paying for, but the Aspen Institute of Ideas is paying for, so I could speak at one of their panels. Did we get banned? Uh-oh. Everybody, we got banned. We got banned. We got banned, everybody. We got banned. We got banned. No. No. Hashtag sad. Hashtag sad. Hashtag sad, everybody. Hashtag sad. Hashtag sad. All right, everybody, let's see what we got banned for. So we got banned until July 1st for hate speech and hateful behaviors and harassment and bullying. Hashtag sad, you guys. What a ban. Holy shit. What a pretty crazy ban, too. Veteran, thank you for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat, saying that they come to debate you with terms like, I quote unquote, I would assume, and probably, this boomer is really worried about the morality of MAGA males. Keep fighting for your generation, sir. Dude, Veteran, I love you. Show some love to Veteran down below in that chat. Hashtag not sad. Hashtag W for Veteran down below. Very unfortunate outcome right there, getting discontinued. Okay, back to the hashtag sads. Very, very unfortunate. We are going to go ahead and give it a minute, see if that appeal goes through. If it does, we may restart the live, but more likely if it doesn't, which I'm thinking is probable because it's really hard to get an account back after those bans, we'll just head over to Parker's stream or something along those lines. But maybe right now I could hang out with you guys and chat about what is going on. Yo, Deanna, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, saying because you got bans. Thank you so much for what you do. Diana, I really appreciate you so much for the love. You are phenomenal. Show some love to Diana down below in that chat. As well as Lisa 2 minutes ago with the $10 saying, deep breath, Dean. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Lisa. And Alyssa, wow, dude, Alyssa, thank you for the $50 over on Venmo, saying, now let's see what Alyssa says. Alyssa says, love what you do and love watching your lives after work every day. Thank you for advocating for others who don't have the same ability or privilege to do so. Alyssa, thank you for the $50 donation. That is incredibly kind of you. As well as Erica 14 minutes ago with the $20. Thank you so much for the love. As well as Sharissa 15 minutes ago with the $20. Once again with that. $20 for the mental health day. Yeah, we're going to be doing that at the end of the month. Alania, thank you for the $10. I do really appreciate that. You know, maybe that's like, it's not the end of the world if we don't get the account back. Because I'll be taking a little bit of a break at the end of the month. So what I'm thinking is I'll probably take a day or two off, spin it up in Aspen, try to disconnect from technology and whatnot, and just have a good time up there. Anyways, yeah, the account got banned. The account got banned, quite frankly. Right now we're just, we got a word back, and it was not approved. Womp, womp, womp. Hashtag sad. Apparently, we are going to be getting a clip of the violation. Oh, violent behaviors and criminal activities. Whoa. It's quite the ban. Holy fuck. Okay. Violent behaviors and criminal. Oh. You know what it's from? It's from the British guy saying that he wanted to kill me. Terrible, 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 terrible. Let's go ahead and send this into the team. Then we gotta drop it in the group chat. I got a team. They reach out to TikTok. They usually get my account back. Let's see. At it's Dean. Week. Ban. Can you guys help appeal? All right. We'll see what the outcome of that is. Holy shit. Okay. All right, everybody. So it looks like we got a week ban for what that British guy had came up on the live and said about, like, you know, wanting to kill me and whatnot. Now, I obviously should have been able to predict that. Unfortunately, I didn't. I was being a little silly goose, and it is what it is. But we did get that appeal in to the team. It looks like that might go through in the next handful of days, but it does take them a while to kind of decipher that. I think it takes around 3 days on average, so I don't know if we'll be getting that account back anytime soon. Hashtag sad. Well, let's go ahead and see what the news is real quick. Okay, so it looks like most of their enriched uranium in Iran was moved from their nuclear sites before they were bombed. Looks like Mitch McConnell is telling people that they'll get over the cuts to Medicaid. Jesus Christ. Yeah, wow. Okay. Interesting. Interesting stuff right there. Hashtag sad. Okay, what do we want to do? I could end for the day. It's 5 p.m. Maybe I could take that time. Or we could just join Parker's stream. Let's see how long we've been live. We've been live for 3 hours, 11 minutes on YouTube. Should we just join Parker's stream, everybody? Hashtag yeah. Sweet. Sweet. We'll join Parker's stream. Cool. All right. All right, we got to get the old setup out so you guys could hear it and whatnot. I don't think that we've whipped this setup out for quite some time. Wow, this feels old school. We used to do the phone on the tripod every day, but then we figured out how to do the streams through the computer. And honestly, since figuring that out, we haven't looked back, so it has been a while. Let's see if I even have all of like the required equipment to get this done. I need an adapter. Oh, there it is. It's hiding behind my desk. Come here, boy. Come here. There it is. Phenomenal. Let's get this plugged in. It's going to cut out for a second, but you will be able to hear me again. Okay. All right. And we are back, quite frankly. Quite frankly, we are back. That's right. We're back. Troll Parker? I don't know. Do we... this Eli account. But it's just like obviously my name. That would be my For You page. Let's see here. Should we?
And sent people
I'll try.
said president.
I'll try.
It would... It's
MAGA.
In my mind worthy
You're
of the
a
attack.
communist. I'm spamming his
The
chat.
attack back. If it was just simply put towards Israel, then it's a whole nother thing because that's not.
DNC
They may be our ally, but that's like a whole nother issue.
Paid by DNC.
If it's an Israel-Iran thing,
Fake donors.
do you or do you not think that should be
communist
fixed between those two countries?
Fake
I'm saying that the United States involved itself for no reason.
By DNC.
Right, and is the case that the United States, right, did not broker a deal. Trump didn't get anything. He claimed he did, right? And he also specifically involved himself with bombing Iran, right?
Bro.
Which is incredibly harmful because
One of his mods muted me. What is this tyranny? They muted me for calling him a communist? What the fuck? Who did that? The tyrannical communist regime! Alright. Doesn't look like we're going to be trolling today. Unfortunately, there's no free speech in communists' lives. There's no free speech, everybody. We're just going to join up as a guess. Crazy. Crazy how they be doing that to us, chat.
People are saying unmute Dean. I'm confused. How did Dean get muted? Hold up, I see Dean. I see Dean now.
Hello.
What's good? What's good? How you doing?
What's going on, man? I'm doing all right. You want to do some debates?
What'd you get? Yeah, absolutely. What'd you get banned for?
Well, a lot. I think I got a ban for hate speech and harassment, bullying, and harassment, and then also violent behaviors and criminal activities.
Wow, interesting.
Wow.
It was probably that one guy.
Yeah, he kind of threw us over the top there. Unfortunately, that's the truth.
Well, we got some debates here. Currently talking about the situation in terms of the ceasefire. And I was asking him essentially, like, what happened with the ceasefire? Why was Donald Trump so egotistical and claiming that he got this peace deal done when there was absolutely nothing that actually got done? Why did he involve himself? You know, certain questions like that. And he was justifying it seems.
Oh, hashtag crazy.
The only part I'm justifying is the fact that if you are going to try to assassinate any world leader, there should be repercussions.
What?
Okay, wait. So Donald Trump assassinated a top military general in Iran, right? Should there have been repercussions for that?
Yeah, the CIA does that like all the time.
I mean, who exactly issued and who carried out said assassination?
Donald Trump, like literally said.
With who? That's what I'm
first
asking.
admin.
Was it military assets or was it via another country? That's what I'm asking.
So,
military assets.
Yeah, military assets. He ordered the strike, which killed the top military general. This was in 2020.
Okay, so in 2020, he assassinated the top generals,
Yeah.
and then I agree. Yes, that was him inserting something that he didn't need to be in. But then again, for the past 3-4 years, there's been rumors.
So what is
of
your
these-
claim? So why do you support Trump?
Because I support him because the slowdown of the nuclear, Iran's nuclear project and program, it's good.
Oh, so then you definitely hate him for literally pulling us out of the agreement in 2018 that stopped them from developing. nukes.
I think yes, he shouldn't have pulled it. He shouldn't have pulled anything out. But
But
then
that was
again,
like terrible. That was like terrible, right? Like, how do you support him after that? Like, under your view, why isn't that like an impeachable offense?
it's the same way as the Afghanistan pullout.
Wait, which Donald Trump set up?
Yeah, no.
So you also don't support the Afghanistan bullet. Good job. You also
understand
organized that.
I understand he choreographed it, but it was initiated during.
Wait, I have a question. How do these two things compare? Like, are you just saying that they compare because they both have the word "pullout" in the name?
No, because they're both.
Wait. Then what's the comparison between us?
They're
taking
both
troops out
brokered
of
around
Afghanistan
two.
and him pulling us out of a denuclearization agreement that prevented Iran from nuclearizing.
Because it's both located around two terrorist organizations. Do you
But
believe?
I don't see like the
top
I don't
officials of
see like
Iran have
what's the relation? Explain it to me.
the simple fact that they both are countries that want the United States basically to crumble, topple, basically like we've done to every other country.
And like
Middle
what
East.
what does this mean as it relates to me saying that it should have been an impeachable offense for him to pull us out of that nuclear peace agreement with Iran? What's the relation?
It's just the simple fact that yes, it's impeachable, but now that the fact that we're in current times, not 2020, current times, I think if we would have let Iran kept going, me, you, and Parker wouldn't have the fact of being here right now. If they would have
You think
continued,
we'd
going
all
off
be
of
dead right
enrichment.
now?
No, not dead, but we would be in severe panic, and World War III would actually start.
Okay, so
The
you think
fact
World War III would start if it is the case that they got access to nuclear weapons, but then you don't think it's an impeachable offense for Donald Trump to pull us out of an agreement that limited Iran from starting World War III?
In 2023, it would have been. I mean, in 2020, it would have been impeachable, yes. But now it's 2025, and it's on the
Wait,
verge.
so you agree that
of-
Donald Trump should have been kicked out of his office in his first term for pulling us out of an agreement that would have led to conditions in which Iran would have quote unquote started World War III?
In first term, I didn't vote for him, but in second term, I did.
Wait, no, I'm asking, if you believe that was impeachable offense, how the hell would you then be okay with supporting him now? You think the guy should have been impeached and kicked out of the position of power, and yet you think he should be in power now?
Because multiple things have occurred since then.
What?
Do you think the fact of the way, but even though Trump orchestrated the Afghanistan pullout, do you think Biden should have went ahead with consisting with that plan? Do you think he knew it would blow up and it would happen that exact way?
I think he had to. I think he had to because Donald Trump set up the agreement. He tried to get an extension, which he did.
So if he even if he got the extension, why didn't he push for another extension, even longer extension? Because I mean that's happened before.
They can't. That was the final one.
So that was the final one. So then, even though he knew the plans, and he is the most powerful person,
Because Donald Trump set that up.
Yeah, he did set it up.
Are you saying that Biden should have stayed?
What, in Afghanistan?
Yeah.
And orchestrated a new plan? Yes.
Okay, so then why did Donald Trump pull out?
The fact that he thought that would be the best for the United States, cutting all the money out of the
But it was wrong, right?
Afghanistan.
You think it was wrong, right?
Him pulling out of orchestrating that way of pulling out of Afghanistan, yes. But I also think that it's wrong for Biden to consist.
Wait, I have a question.
Sit there and do it.
So, did you say earlier that you support defending Ukraine?
For Ukraine and Russia?
Uh-huh.
Okay. The fact that I don't think anything Ukraine gives us anything, so no, I don't think supporting it.
Wait, so to clarify, this guy's a war hawk. He thinks we should be involved like practically everywhere around the world, right? But he doesn't think that we should be defending Ukraine, which we have an agreement with to like defend if they gave up their nuclear weapons from a country, Russia, invading them.
Okay, so would you say Israel's in that same exact spot?
No, because Israel started it. You
So
support
is-
defending. You support like literally an offensive conflict on behalf of Israel, but you don't support defending Ukraine from Russia invading them.
Do you think?
Wait, no. Address that. Address what I just said.
The fact that, yes, I agree, and I think that Ukraine should not be defended for this one sole purpose. The fact that we dumped so much money into it and it's been basically going nowhere.
Wait,
We
you mean
poured-
that, like that they are defending their country. The fact that Ukraine's a country still today is evidence of the fact that it was working, right? You understand that too. Like Ukraine would not be a country right now at all if it wasn't the case that the West came together and came to fund it, right? Ukraine would
Yes.
not be a country.
Yes, I agree. I'm just saying the fact that besides the treaty, there's no beneficial. It's like, I mean, how do you explain?
Wait,
the
do you
thing
think that
about
America
country?
should follow through with its word?
I think it should follow through. Hence why I think the pressure put on Iran should be there.
Okay, so if America should follow through with its word, well, then why shouldn't it follow through with the Budapest Memorandum?
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue about that one. That's like, I'm saying
It sounds like you're arguing it should, right? Then you
I'm saying
disagree
you're
with Donald
right.
Trump, not
Holy
only on
shit.
Ukraine. You disagree with Donald Trump also in terms of Afghanistan. You disagree with Donald Trump in terms of so much in terms of foreign policy. What do you agree with Donald Trump on? Could you name me a single Donald Trump policy that you do agree with?
I'm sorry for hopping in.
no
here.
taxation on overtime. I mean, that's
Hold up 1 second. Dean, that's him.
Yeah, no, I've just I'm just kind of clocking myself right here. I've yawned like 3 or 4 times in like the last 5 minutes here. I think I'm getting really tired and worn out for the day, and it's probably best if I just if I sign off for the day. So
Totally valid.
Yeah, real quick for everybody watching over on my YouTube account. Are you live on YouTube, Parker?
Yep, I am.
So for the 3.4 thousand people on my YouTube live, please feel free to head over to @ParkerGetAJob on YouTube. Join his live. Maybe we could get him up to like 7K or some crazy shit. So go send a Dean right over there. I'm going to get off for the day. I am tired beyond all belief. I think I'm going to take the rest of the evening as a little bit of a night off. I haven't taken a night off in a long time. So you may not see any like feed posts or videos or whatnot from me. I'm just going to take some time to myself. But yeah, I think that's what's going to be best for me. Parker, it's a pleasure. I hope you have a good rest of your stream, man.
Absolutely. Have a good night, man.
And then once again, for everybody watching on the YouTube, head over to @ParkerGetAJob. I'm going to go and sign off. I will see y'all tomorrow. I'm going to take some time for personal care. Peace and love, guys. Bye-bye.